Chapter 460. No, a roar of unwillingness resounded through the world. The stone giant looked at the atomic bomb-like shock wave in the distance and let out an unwilling roar. He used all his strength and rushed madly. However, in front of these flame shock waves, his speed was as slow as an ant. In an instant, the shock wave covered his body. His body was hit by the heat wave and disappeared into nothingness. The scream stopped abruptly. The shock wave did not stop and continued to spread in all directions. The forbidden land was shattered in pieces. Tens of thousands of meters high heat waves, whistling between heaven and earth, exploded in all directions. It looked like an asteroid hitting a planet, terrifying and boundless. All the creatures in the entire forbidden land were annihilated into powder. Outside the forbidden land, Six-Eared Macaque and Thunder Tribulation Lord looked at this scene, and their faces changed dramatically. Without thinking about it, they used their own means and ran wildly. In an instant, they fled thousands of miles away. Looking back, they couldn't help but explode. They saw. The scarlet flame shockwave did not stop there. Instead, it continued to spread. After leaving the forbidden land, it blasted into the sea. The sea surrounding the forbidden land was set off a huge wave of 10,000 meters. With the momentum of toppling mountains, it swept in all directions. Buzz, at this moment, even if they were far enough away, they could sense that the entire purple sun star was shaking violently. The 10,000-meter tsunami roared rapidly in all directions. In the sea, thousands of creatures were torn into blood mist by the tsunami, and together with the sea, it continued to sweep the purple sun star. Kacha, the huge water mist rushed into the sky, forming a huge storm. Huge lightning, shuttling in the storm, burst out with the power to destroy heaven and earth. Looking at this tsunami and storm, Thunder Tribulation Lord and Six-Eared Macaque's faces changed dramatically. It's over, the entire purple sun star is over. Even if it can fly, all the continents will probably be torn apart, and there will be no more creatures in the future. Such terrifying power, even the God King can't use it, right? Not good, young master. Let's hurry to rescue. Don't go and make trouble. Thunder Tribulation Lord and Six-Eared Macaque looked bitter, looking at the center of the Forbidden Land with a worried face. Above the Forbidden Land, the giant golden Buddha's face was pale, revealing a sad smile. He looked at Sun Hao, who fell to the ground and fainted, and secretly wiped his cold sweat. Who the hell is this child? Even with the power of Buddhism, we could only injure him. Even if my true body came, I'm afraid it would be difficult to kill him in a short time. However, he finally fainted. Now, suffer my wrath. After speaking, the giant golden Buddha waved his right hand and grabbed Sun Hao in his hand. Phew! 2 golden lights burst out of the giant golden Buddha's eyes and swept directly on Sun Hao. The 2 golden lights seemed to see through Sun Hao. After a while, the golden light stopped abruptly. Ouch! The giant golden Buddha covered his eyes with a pained expression. Damn it! Who is this kid? There's actually a mysterious aura enveloping it. You can't calculate it? This seat doesn't believe it. Look at your soul space. Between the eyebrows of the giant golden Buddha, a few wisps of golden light flew out, aimed at Sun Hao's eyebrows, and drilled into it. The next second, pooh, the giant golden Buddha spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Sun Hao in astonishment, unable to calm down for a long time. Just now, when his divine sense penetrated between Sun Hao's eyebrows, the giant golden Buddha saw the terrifying 9-colored light. Is that the legendary? Before the words fell, the giant golden Buddha looked at Sun Hao, and he couldn't help but widen his eyes, revealing a look of shock. He saw. Phew! On Sun Hao's body, a 9-colored light enveloped his whole body. The injuries on his body recovered quickly. The aura of the whole person was expanding rapidly. In less than a moment it strengthened several times. Buzz! Sun Hao opened his eyes, and 2 rays of light burst out. he directly swept to the giant golden Buddha and stared at him. "You, who the hell are you? Why do you have?" Before he finished speaking, Sun Hao stretched out his finger and blasted it at the giant golden Buddha. "Stop. Don't force this seat, otherwise the entire Xiang star will turn into powder." The giant golden Buddha opened his mouth and roared. "Just by yourself?" Sun Hao smiled coldly, changed his finger into a claw, and grabbed hard. Buzz, the world trembled and the waves were boundless. The giant golden Buddha's body was imprisoned in place, unable to move. His face changed drastically, and his body struggled frantically. However, it was useless. In front of this force, he was as weak as an ant and had no power to struggle at all. The giant golden Buddha watched his body shrinking rapidly, and the power in his body was sealed. He looked at Sun Hao as if looking at a terrifying monster. In his eyes there was only thick fear. In less than a moment, the giant golden Buddha changed into the size of a normal person and fell in front of Sun Hao. "You, who the hell are you?" the giant golden Buddha asked. "It doesn't matter who this seed is. If you want to live, tell the truth. Are you Tathagata's clone?" Sun Hao asked. "Live? Just by yourself? With this deity here, he will definitely be able to protect me. Don't even think about dealing with me. When I go back, I must make this deity." Before the words were finished, the giant golden Buddha's figure stagnated. Above his head, a wisp of soul was pulled out by Sun Hao. Infinite fear spread to that soul. The giant Buddha's soul kowtowed to Sun Hao. "Spare me, spare me. This seat will ask you one last time. Have you heard of the chaotic star sea?" Sun Hao asked. As soon as these words came out, the giant Buddha's soul body trembled, and deep fear surged all over his body. The corner of his mouth raised a cold smile. "I advise you not to inquire about the chaotic star sea, otherwise your soul will only fly away and scatter. That place is not something you can go to. The thing inside is an indescribable existence." That is, the words were not finished. The giant Buddha's soul exploded into nothingness with a bang and disappeared without a trace. Boom! Immediately afterward, the giant Buddha's body also collapsed into nothingness. Sun Hao looked at this scene with a dignified face. His own strength had skyrocketed, and the giant Buddha was killed under his nose. The person behind this was not simple. If this was Tathagata's clone, then why was he so afraid of the chaotic star sea? Could it be Dao Qingyang who lived in the chaotic star sea? Golden Cicada said that Qingyang was not the culprit of the calamity. If it was not Dao Qingyang, then who was it? Who was telling the truth in the end? For a while, Sun Hao fell into confusion. The closer he got to the truth, the farther he felt the truth was from him. It seemed that there was an invisible big hand controlling everything. This big hand might be Dao Qingyang, it might be the heavenly Dao, or it might even be a taboo existence. Perhaps these three were the same person. For a while, there was no way to distinguish them. Dao Qingyang? Golden Cicada? I'll ask Golden Cicada first to understand some things, and then go to the Shadow Realm. Sun Hao thought secretly. With a move of his mind, he instantly disappeared in place. Chapter 461. Heaven Realm. In a temple, Ma Mu Hihi, the group of Buddhas sat cross-legged on the ground, chanting incantations. Countless golden scriptures flew up from their bodies and disappeared into the void of space. Suddenly, buzz, there was a tremor. Each of the Buddhas spat out a mouthful of blood, their faces pale. They opened their eyes and looked at the Buddha simultaneously. Pooh, the great Buddha spat out a mouthful of blood as well, and a serious look appeared on his face. "Buddha, what's wrong?" a bodhisattva asked. "This is bad. My doppelganger has been destroyed. I didn't receive any information. The one who saved Golden Cicada is no weaker than me." The voice of the great Buddha rumbled and spread to every Buddha's ears. Upon hearing those words, the faces of all the Buddhas were filled with astonishment. They opened their mouths wide, and did not calm down for a long time. Buddha, could this have been done by Subhuti? A bodhisattva asked. No. The great Buddha shook his head. I can confirm that this person's aura is unfamiliar. It's definitely not done by someone I know. Buddha, could the beginning of the Dark Age have something to do with this person? It's possible. The great Buddha nodded and looked at the group of Buddhas solemnly. I'm afraid that the Dark Age will start earlier. I need to cultivate in seclusion. I'll only come out after I've broken through. Our disciples will listen to Wen Shu's orders. Do you understand? The voice of the great Buddha boomed, directly ringing in the ears of every disciple. Yes, Buddha. On Purple Sun Star, at the edge of the forbidden area. Buzz, the sky trembled, and Sun Hao drilled out of the ripples and stood in front of the Thunder Tribulation Ruler. The eyes of the Thunder Tribulation Ruler and the Thunder Tribulation Ruler flickered, revealing a look of joy. Young Master. The two of them cupped their fists and bowed. Sun Hao nodded slightly. Are you two okay? Young Master, we are fine, but Purple Sun Star has a big event. I'm afraid it will be destroyed soon. Thunder Tribulation Sovereign said. Destroyed? Sun Hao frowned and his mind swept, covering the entire Purple Sun Star. Looking at the 10,000-meter tsunami and the boundless storm, his expression changed slightly. Break. His words were the law. The storm in the sky quickly disappeared. The violent winds stopped and the huge waves dissipated. The tsunami that was spreading all around was completely shattered. The entire Purple Sun Star regained its peace. Seeing this scene, the Thunder Tribulation Lord and the six-eared macaque opened their mouths wide and did not recover for a long time. Admiration was written all over their faces. Go. Sun Hao retracted his divine sense and glanced at the two of them. With a wave of his right hand, he brought the two of them with him. When he reappeared, he was already in the Buddhist kingdom. Young Master. Ning Mingji, no, it would be more accurate to call him Golden Cicada. He stepped forward, bowed deeply to Sun Hao, and cupped his fists in salute. No need for formalities. Sun Hao waved his hand, sat in front of Golden Cicada, and asked, Tell me about Qingyang. Yes, young master. Golden Cicada nodded. He looked up at the sky, as if he had returned to 1,000,000 years ago. This is my first time meeting the Tao Master. I'm just a Golden Cicada. With just a glance at the Tao Master, I gained sentience. The Tao Master is so wise and valiant. With a wave of his hand, he carries the aura of the Tao and is extremely powerful. At that time, I was deeply fascinated by him. As long as I stay by his side, my strength will increase rapidly. Moreover, the Tao Master doesn't seem to have discovered all this. Later, I learned that the Tao Master was cultivating as a mortal. Listening to this, Sun Hao couldn't help but frown. All of this felt so familiar. Wasn't this talking about him? Could it be that he was Dao Qingyang? Sun Hao thought secretly. His heart was like being hit by a storm, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. The more he thought about it, the more he felt it was possible. Perhaps Dao Qingyang was his previous life. For some reason, he caused chaos throughout the ages. No, he suppressed the world, but he failed. His soul went to Earth and reincarnated successfully. And the power he left behind brought his soul to this world in the system mode. He didn't need to cultivate at all. He just absorbed his previous power. Everything he did was actually controlled by his own power instinctively. Sun Hao thought secretly. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. All of this made sense. It turned out that it should be said that in his previous life, he was a person who caused chaos throughout the ages. Since he failed in his previous life, this life was likely to fail as well. He had to be careful. Sun Hao looked at Golden Cicada and didn't interrupt. Later, Old Man Rulai took a fancy to the demon power in my body, so he tricked me into the Buddhist kingdom and suppressed all my power for them to use. Because I cultivated the immortal indestructible technique, My soul couldn't be destroyed, so I was suppressed by him in Xiang's star. However, if Old Man Rulai wants to devour our demon power, it's not something that can be done in a short time. All of our demon power should be sealed somewhere in the heavenly realm. Listening to this, Sun Hao nodded slightly. Then do you know where the chaotic astral sea is? Sun Hao asked. As soon as these words came out, Golden Cicada's face was full of fear. He looked at Sun Hao and lowered his voice. Young master, the chaotic astral sea is in the heavenly realm. That place must not be gone. If the Tao master didn't go to the chaotic astral sea, he wouldn't have died. Speaking of this, Golden Cicada's face was gloomy. So, I went to the chaotic astral sea in my previous life and died? What the hell is in the chaotic astral sea? Sun Hao frowned, revealing a thoughtful look. The figure in the castle wanted him to go to the chaotic astral sea. What was the truth in it? Why did Golden Cicada say he couldn't go? Who was the figure in the castle? Let's not worry about it first. I'll go to the chaotic astral sea after I figure out some things. Sun Hao thought secretly and made a decision. Do you know what's in the chaotic astral sea? Sun Hao asked. Young master, I don't know. Looking at the entire three realms, after hundreds of millions of years, only the Tao master has been to the chaotic astral sea. He was the only one who came out of it. However, after coming out, he was seriously injured. Those shameless bastards seized this opportunity and concentrated their fire on the Tao master. In the end, he died and didn't leave us any information. Golden Cicada said. Sun Hao listened to this and nodded slightly. He stood up and patted Golden Cicada on the shoulder. Brother Ning, I'll leave this place to you. I still have something to do, so I'll leave first. Young master, don't worry. Golden Cicada nodded heavily. Whoosh! Sun Hao's figure flashed, and came to the front of the six-eared macaque. Young master, are we leaving now? The six-eared macaque stepped forward. Sun Hao nodded and stretched out his finger. Wisps of spatial power ran through his fingers and poured into the void. Whoosh! A moment later, Sun Hao retracted his finger, revealing a solemn face. Young master, what's wrong? We can't reach the star-crack star directly. It seems that we can only go to the heavenly dipper star first. After speaking, Sun Hao took the two of them, stepped into the void, and disappeared. So I am the Tao Ancestor source. Chapter 462. The Big Dipper star was a planet of life several times larger than the purple sun star. On a continent there was a city called the Big Dipper City. This city was the center of the Big Dipper star and also the center of the Big Dipper galaxy. In a tea house, a group of cultivators drank tea leisurely and talked freely. This Big Dipper chi is getting stronger and stronger, enveloping the entire broken star sector. There is no way to go in. Yeah, I wanted to go to the Shadow Realm to try my luck, but now it seems that there is no chance at all. Come on, the primordial chi is extremely precious. With our strength, it is impossible to get it. In a corner, 3 men sat there. These 3 men were Sun Hao, the Thunder Tribulation ruler, and Six-Eared Macaque. Primordial chi? Sun Hao frowned slightly, showing a puzzled look. The faces of the Thunder Tribulation ruler and Six-Eared Macaque bloomed with a strange light. Young master, the primordial chi is a top-grade divine item. This thing is extremely precious. Six-Eared Macaque said. Top-grade divine item? What is its use? Sun Hao asked. Young master, this is a super treasure for condensing godhood. With it, condensing godhood will be easy. Moreover, it can also quickly increase the strength of gods and break through realms. It can be said that it is a treasure that all cultivators dream of, Six-Eared Macaque said. Hearing this, Sun Hao nodded secretly. If you have this, can you condense godhood? Sun Hao asked. Young master, of course. Six-Eared Macaque and Six-Eared Macaque nodded heavily, their eyes shining. Seeing the change in their expressions, Sun Hao nodded secretly. That's fine, I will also fight for this primordial chi. Sun Hao said. Young master, I am afraid that the heaven realm will also know of the birth of the primordial chi, and they will definitely participate. Six-eared macaque said. Heaven realm? Which forces will participate? Sun Hao asked. Young master, the one in charge of the heaven realm is the celestial emperor. He has countless masters under him, and there are several terrifying figures behind him. It can be said that he is an unshakable existence. They will definitely know that the primordial chi exists in the shadow realm. Six-eared macaque said. Besides the celestial emperor? In addition to the celestial emperor, there are also Buddhists, Taoists, Taoists, and gods. Listening to this, Sun Hao nodded slightly. It seemed that the trip to the shadow realm would not be easy. Alright, let's go. Sun Hao stood up and was about to leave. Big news, big news! An exclamation came from outside the door. Then, a man in purple clothes quickly walked into the hall, stood at the door, and shouted loudly. What big news? If you have something to say, just say it. If you have something to fart, just let it out. It's so boring to keep me hanging like this. That's right. Every time, it's big news. Every time, it's the same things. Hearing this, the purple-robed man smiled awkwardly. Everyone, I'm not fooling you this time. Do you know of Taoist explosion? The purple-robed man asked. TSK, do I need you to mention Taoist explosion? Who hasn't heard of it? That's right. Who doesn't know Taoist explosion? Could it be that he came to Big Dipper planet? Everyone looked at the purple-robed man in confusion. The purple-robed man smiled, revealing a proud expression. Not bad. Not only did Tao being explosive come to Big Dipper planet, he's even in Big Dipper City right now. As soon as these words came out, there was dead silence all around. Everyone's eyes widened, revealing a look of disbelief. Sun Hao looked at everyone's expression and was also slightly taken aback. It seemed that this Taoist explosion was not simple in everyone's mind. Who the hell was this Taoist explosion? Thinking like this, Sun Hao sat down again. Six-eared macaque and Thunder Tribulation Lord naturally followed suit. Taoist explosion is in Big Dipper City? Is this true? Taoist explosion is a role model for our generation. I didn't expect to see him in person this time. It is said that he is someone who has eaten dragon meat. He was chased by the Dragon Clan and fled to Big Dipper planet. Is this true? Everyone muttered to themselves, showing an expression of disbelief. The purple-robed man smiled slightly and continued to speak. You guys are all behind the times. Let me tell you, Taoist explosion is not only being chased by the Dragon Clan, but even Stargazing Tower and the Cultivator Alliance are also chasing him. The purple-robed man said. As soon as these words came out, it was like a stone stirring up 1,000 ripples. What? It's fine if the Dragon Clan is chasing him? Why does Stargazing Tower and the Cultivator Alliance also want to kill him? I heard that Taoist explosion is from Stargazing Tower. Why does Stargazing Tower want to kill him? He is a human, why does the Cultivator Alliance also want to kill him? Voices of doubt rang out constantly. When everyone calmed down, the purple-robed man continued to speak. I am the same as you, also very puzzled. However, everyone doesn't have to worry. Isn't Taoist explosion still alive and well despite being chased by so many people? The purple-robed man said. That's right. Taoist explosion is really powerful. It is said that once on Huigang Star, he was chased by thousands of dragons. In the end, he blew up thousands of dragons with one move. Yes, I heard that among the thousands of dragons, there were a few demigods, and they also ended up dead. Don't talk about this. Where is Taoist explosion? I want to admire him. Tell me, where is Taoist explosion? Everyone's eyes were focused on the purple-robed man. The purple-robed man scratched his head and showed an embarrassed smile. I heard it from others. Actually, I don't know where Taoist explosion is. What? You don't know? How dare you keep us in suspense like this? You're asking for a beating. See if I don't beat you up. A group of cultivators stood up and pounced towards the purple-robed man aggressively. Suddenly, boom, a dull sound came from the sky, causing the entire Big Dipper city to tremble slightly. This sound woke everyone up with a start. They ran out of the tea house in unison and flew up. Standing in the sky, they narrowed their eyes and their pupils constricted. In the sky, more and more cultivators flew up and stood there motionlessly. Everyone's faces were filled with disbelief and surprise. They looked like they were densely packed and could not be counted at all. At that moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on the void. They saw a white-robed man stood in the void and swept his gaze across the surroundings. The corners of his lips curled up with a calm expression. Whoosh, with a flap of his folding fan, a crisp sound echoed in all directions. The white-robed man waved his folding fan gently and looked at the surrounding men with a smile. "Don't you guys want to capture me? Come on, I'm standing right here. Come and capture me." The cultivators around the white-clothed man all had nervous expressions on their faces as they stared at the white-clothed man. They opened their mouths and hesitated. Wow, he's so handsome. Taoist Explosion is indeed the role model of our generation. He's not afraid at all against so many experts. Taoist Explosion's strength is far beyond our imagination. He doesn't seem to have a Tao companion. If I can become his Tao companion, I'll have no regrets in my life. Chapter 463. Brat, I won't say much. Hand over all the boat cores on you and I can consider giving you a quick death. A man in a black robe stood out and looked at the man in white coldly. The man in white's expression did not change. He took out a boat core unhurriedly and raised it in his hand. The moment this thing appeared, it instantly attracted everyone's attention. There's actually such a boat core in this world? Who was the one who made this thing? The power on it is simply too terrifying. So the reason why so many people are chasing him is because of the boat core. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the man in white, or to be more precise, Zhang Tianping. Zhang Tianping looked at the man in black and revealed a cold smile. Zhang Tianhu, is this what you want? The man in black looked at the boat core in Zhang Tianping's hand and his eyes shone with an uncontrollable light. Quick, give it to me. The man in black walked in front of Zhang Tianping and extended his hand. However, Zhang Tianping's palm was as fast as lightning and slapped the man in black's face. A crisp sound resounded through the world. The man in black flew out uncontrollably and crashed into a few of his subordinates. Immediately, bang, several of his subordinates' bodies exploded into dust. He didn't even let out a scream until he died. The man in black used a lot of strength to stabilize his body. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He looked at Zhang Tianping with a face full of fear. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Zhang Tianping. The scene was dead silent. After a long time, everyone finally recovered. A second-grade demigod was sent flying with a slap? Oh my god, Taoist Explosion is too strong. From the looks of it, he hasn't used his full strength. Otherwise, Zhang Tianhu's body would probably explode. I like Taoist Explosion so much. The exclamations were endless. Waves of admiration swept over Zhang Tianping. At this moment, Zhang Tianping became the focus of everyone. He calmly stood there, raised the arc core high up, and swept his gaze around. Who else wants the boat core? His voice was like thunder, shaking out and clearly entering everyone's ears. Any Xiuzhe that Zhang Tianping's gaze swept across lowered their heads, not daring to look directly at him. The black-robed man looked at Zhang Tianping, pointed at him, and loudly shouted, You actually dared to kill our clansman, how ruthless! Are you going to betray the Zhang family? The black-robed man roared. When Zhang Tianping heard this, his smiling face gradually turned cold. A murderous intent spread from his body, sweeping across the heavens and earth. At this moment, the temperature of the world plummeted, and the coldness seeped into his body through his skin, straight into his bones. Jean family? Betray the Jean clan? Are you joking? The Jean family treated me as one of theirs again. At this point, Jean Tianping threw his head back and laughed. Ha ha, the voice reverberated between the heavens and the earth. After he returned to the Jean family, he took out the boat core engraved with Mo house stone and handed it to the family. He didn't expect that the elders would want him to hand over all the boat cores. Of course he couldn't do that. He could only hand over the Mo house stone's engraved boat core. These elders seemed to have seen through his thoughts, and were actually threatening him, forcing him to open his soul space for them to search. The soul space stored the young master's engraved boat core. How could he let them search that kind of thing? Moreover, if the soul space was scanned by the outside, it would reduce his talent. In serious cases, he would be stuck for life. Naturally, he refused to obey even in death. In the end, Elder Fong and Elder Fong, who followed him, were captured by them and tortured to death. From the beginning to the end, as his father's patriarch, he didn't say a word and allowed everything to develop. From that moment on, he realized that the patriarch was no longer his father. In his eyes there was only profit. At that time, he used a boat core and it immediately exploded. A few elders were killed on the spot, and the patriarch was injured. Because he had the protection of the young master's painting scroll, he was safe and sound. After escaping from the Jean family, he encountered the dragon race, and in the end, he was chased all the way. He had no choice but to escape to the heavenly Dipper galaxy. Although there was astral energy here, it was fortunately safe. However, the dragon race didn't seem to give up. They quickly found him and kept chasing him. While he was being hunted, he was constantly growing. At a critical juncture, he took out one of the young master's boat cores and detonated it. His name, Taoist Explosion, spread throughout the entire heavenly Dipper galaxy just like that. Now, with his strength, he had the power to fight against a 7th-grade demigod. All of this was thanks to the young master. Jean Tianping thought to himself, and 2 lines of tears fell down. After a long time, he stopped laughing. The pressure of a 7th-grade demigod swept out from his body and went straight for the black-robed man. The black-robed man's expression changed drastically, and he struggled frantically, but it was useless. Dong, he took a step forward. As if stepping on his chest, the black-robed man's body trembled. Jean family? Pui. Search my soul space. You still have the face to talk about my Jean family. Jean Tianping walked forward step by step, looking down at the black-robed man. What do you want? The black-robed man's expression changed drastically as he asked. You want to snatch my boat core, and you still ask me what I want? What do you think? Jean Tianping said coldly. You want to kill me? You dare. Go, what are you still standing there for? Quickly destroy him. The black-robed man let out a hysterical shout. The group of Jean family disciples looked at Jean Tianping as if looking at a monster. They didn't dare to rush forward at all. Kill, a few people mustered up their courage and rushed forward. Humph! Jean Tianping snorted coldly, reached out his hand and slapped over. Bang! An explosion rang out. A few disciples who rushed forward instantly collapsed on the spot. This scene strongly stimulated the others' eyeballs. Every disciple shrank back, their bodies trembling. Who else isn't afraid of death? Jean Tianping's gaze swept across. The group of disciples retreated one after another, quickly fleeing. You guys! The black-robed man pointed at them and revealed a bitter smile. He looked at Jean Tianping and opened his mouth and said, Tianping, don't kill me. I'm your cousin. It's my fault, please spare my life. The black-robed man knelt in front of Jean Tianping and kept begging for mercy. Jean Tianping smiled coldly, ignoring the black-robed man's begging for mercy. Reaching out his palm, he slapped over at the black-robed man. No, the black-robed man's expression changed drastically as he closed his eyes and shouted. Jean Tianping's palm landed 5 inches away from the black-robed man's face and could not go any further. Jean Tianping gritted his teeth and roared with all his might. However, he still could not slap down. Beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. He swept his gaze around and roared, "Which scoundrel is it that's hiding? Come out if you want to snatch my boat core." Jean Tianping's voice was like thunder, reverberating through the world. This sound woke everyone up with a start. An expert has appeared? No way could he be stronger than Dao being explosive. It's very possible, didn't you guys see? Dao being explosive's palm couldn't go down at all earlier on. Someone must have stopped him in secret. I thought he stopped on purpose. Everyone swept their gazes in all directions. Suddenly, insolent. A soft shout came from the sky. Chapter 464. Presumptuous. A light shout came from the sky, making everyone's ears ring. Looking up, everyone's eyes widened in surprise. They saw. Buzz, layers of ripples shook in the sky, and a figure slowly descended from the sky. He wore a blue brocade robe and had a mustache. Just standing there, he gave people a feeling of power without being angry. He looked at Jean Tianping calmly with his hands behind his back, motionless. Who is he? What a strong aura. You don't even know him? He is the master of the stargazing tower, the head of the Zhan family, Zhan Hong. What? Zhan Hong is here? He is at the peak of the demigod realm, and it is said that he can fight a lower god. Can fight a lower god? Why would such a person come here instead of guarding the stargazing tower? Is it just to capture his son? You think too much. I dare say that Zhan Hong came to the Big Dipper star for only one purpose, and that is to go to the Shadow Realm and seize the primordial energy. So that's how it is. If that's the case, then it makes sense. It seems that capturing Jean Tianping is just a matter of convenience. The sound of discussion continued. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Zhan Hong, motionless. Haha, so it's you? Are you here to kill me? Jean Tianping looked at Zhan Hong and said lightly. Unfilial son, how did I give birth to such an unfilial son? You killed so many elders and even now you still don't repent? How many more people do you want to kill? Do you want to exterminate my Zhan family? Surrender and go back with your father, and there may be a chance of survival. Zhan Hong said. Haha. Jean Tianping looked up to the sky and laughed as if he had heard the best joke in the world. Killed so many elders? Don't you know what they want to do? They want to open my soul space and destroy my foundation. I don't want to. They actually tortured Elder Fong and the others to death. I only ask you, where were you at that time? Jean Tianping roared loudly, his voice shaking. 2 slaves, why take it to heart? For the family, if they die, they die. Zhan Hong said lightly. Haha, in your eyes they are just servants, but in my eyes they are my benefactors, my elders, and my fathers. You are so cold-blooded. What right do you have to call yourself a father? Scram, or don't blame me for starting a massacre. Jean Tianping's eyes were bloodshot as he roared. Zhan Hong's expression changed slightly, and the corners of his mouth twitched. He clenched his fists so tightly that his joints cracked. Anger and killing intent swirled in his chest as if they were about to explode. After a long while, only then did he calm down and coldly look at Jean Tianping. This seat will ask you one last time, will you go back with me, or, before he could finish his words, Zhan Hong's pupils constricted, and his expression changed drastically. Without thinking, he summoned a shield and retreated at the same time. Xiao! A ray of red light rapidly approached. This ray of light was formed by a boat core. It contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. In front of this red light, Zhan Hong's escaping speed was negligible. The red light expanded rapidly in Zhan Hong's eyes. It exploded in an instant. Boom! With a loud bang, heaven and earth shook. A dazzling light covered everything, making people close their eyes tightly. Immediately after, a loud noise came, shaking people's heads and making buzzing sound. The whole world seemed to be about to collapse. The shock wave spread rapidly in all directions with the momentum of breaking dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. In an instant it enveloped the black-robed man. The black-robed man opened his mouth wide and let out a scream of horror. However, just as his mouth opened, it stopped abruptly. His body instantly burst into powder and dissipated without a trace. The shock wave did not stop and continued to spread around. Not far away, when those Jean family disciples saw this scene, their faces also changed drastically, revealing a look of panic. No, the unwilling cry stopped abruptly. Hundreds of disciples all burst into powder and disappeared. The shock wave still did not stop and continued to spread outward. When the onlookers saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically and they panicked. It's over. There were only these two words that they could think of in their mind. In front of this shock wave, any method was futile. Even escaping was impossible. They closed their eyes one after another and quietly waited for death. However, after waiting for a moment, there was no reaction. When they opened their eyes and saw the scene in front of them, they couldn't help but reveal a look of joy. They saw that the shock wave in front of them had long disappeared. The surroundings gradually calmed down. Look! There was a cry of surprise. Following the direction of this person's hand, everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes, revealing a look of joy. They saw that Jean Tianping stood where he was, completely fine, and not far away from him, Jean Hong half knelt on the ground, revealing a look of pain. He struggled to stand up, and after swallowing a few pills, he recovered some color. Unfilial son, Jean Hong pointed at Jean Tianping, and was about to rush forward when he quickly stabilized his body. He looked at the boat core in Jean Tianping's hand, revealing a look of fear. Come on, Jean Hong. If you're not afraid of death, just come. I don't have much of anything, but this is the only thing I have. A few more, and I will definitely send you to the Western Paradise. Jean Tianping looked at Jean Hong with a smile and said. Jean Hong's chest tightened, his expression extremely ugly. He wanted to rush forward, but he didn't dare. He unwillingly let go of his hand. Just as he was about to leave. Ha ha! A burst of hearty laughter resounded through the world. Then, a figure quickly arrived and stood next to Jean Hong. The appearance of this figure instantly woke up the dumbfounded people. It's him. Why is he here too? What is he? Who is he? You don't even know him? He is the Deputy Alliance Leader of the Cultivator Alliance Wu Tai. What? Wu Tai is here, what is he here for? Isn't that obvious? He must be here for the Qi of primordial chaos. His strength is even stronger than Jean Hong's. Oh my God, for the Qi of primordial chaos, even such a powerhouse is here. Explosions rang out continuously. Everyone looked at Wu Tai in a daze, their faces full of confusion. What are you here for? Jean Hong looked at Wu Tai, a hint of fear flashed in his eyes. Jean Hong, I am sincerely happy to see you suffer. I think you can't take him down either. Why don't we work together to take him down and split the boat core equally? Wu Tai said. No need. Jean Hong coldly snorted. You don't need to worry about my family's affairs. Wu Tai coldly smiled. Family affairs? Is he still a member of your Jean family? Treasures appear in the world, those who are capable can take them. These boat cores I must take a share, Wu Tai said. Jean Tianping looked at Wu Tai, revealing a hint of fear. He slowly retreated, wanting to escape from this place. At this time, buzz, the space behind him shook, and a figure appeared behind him. This figure grabbed Jean Tianping's shoulder. Where do you want to go? Chapter 465. Buzz, the space trembled. A figure appeared behind Jean Tianping, and before Jean Tianping could react, he pressed a hand on Jean Tianping's shoulder. "Where do you want to go?" Jean Tianping gritted his teeth and struggled, only to find that all the strength in his body seemed to be imprisoned, unable to move at all. Even the soul space couldn't be opened. "You? Who are you?" Jean Tianping asked. Hee. The corner of the middle-aged man's mouth rose, revealing a cold smile. "It doesn't matter who I am, the important thing is that you are caught by me." Jean Tianping's chest stagnated, revealing a helpless expression. He tried to mobilize all the strength in his body, but found that he couldn't mobilize it at all. To be able to restrain him like this person's strength was far above his. Even much stronger than Wu Tai. This time, he was dead for sure. "Young master, I'm sorry, I can't auction your boat core for immortal crystals, I'm useless." Jean Tianping's face was full of bitterness. He closed his eyes and didn't move. "Long Yukuan, it's you." Wu Tai raised his eyebrows, looking at the man behind Jean Tianping. He couldn't help but look startled. As soon as these words came out, the entire scene was in an uproar. Everyone's eyes widened, revealing a look of disbelief. "What? Long Yukuan? Did I hear it wrong?" "No, I also heard it, Long Yukuan. My God, the ruler of the Dragon Clan, Long Yukuan, actually came? It can't be? I heard that Long Yukuan defeated a 5th-grade lower god, is this true?" Exclamations kept sounding. Everyone stared at Long Yukuan, their faces full of shock. Zhan Hong looked at Long Yukuan, his expression constantly changing. Finally, he sighed unwillingly. Just as he was about to fly away, Wu Tai grabbed him. "Brother Zhan, where are you going?" Wu Tai shouted. "What does it have to do with you where I go?" Zhan Hong said. "Your son was taken away by another clan just like that and you don't care?" Wu Tai said. Zhan Hong opened his mouth, unable to speak. "Let me tell you, if you use that kind of boat core, you'll be able to blast open a large area of stellar energy. Going to the astral star won't be a problem. The Dragon Clan is strong, and they may have a divine spirit patriarch behind them. However, as long as I can go to the Shadow Realm and obtain the power of chaos, becoming a divine spirit will not be a problem. At that time, do we still need to fear the Dragon Clan?" Wu Tai said. Hearing this, Zhan Hong nodded. "But so what? Can you beat Long Yukuan? I can't do it alone, but if we join forces, defeating Long Yukuan shouldn't be a problem, right?" Wu Tai said. "Alright." Zhan Hong nodded slightly. After a series of divine sense transmission, the two of them reached a consensus. Zhan Hong turned around and looked at Long Yukuan. "Long Yukuan, what is the meaning of this? Why did you capture my son?" "Haha," Long Yukuan sneered. "Son? Have you been his son? Did he acknowledge you? This is our family's matter. It's none of your business. Quickly let him go, otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." Zhan Hong said. "Let him go? Sure." The corners of Long Yukuan's mouth curled up, and a cold smile was written all over his face. "However, he ate my dragon race. How should we settle this score?" "So what if I ate your dragon race? The weak are prey to the strong, this is an unchanging truth. Have you dragons not eaten enough of my people?" Zhan Hong released his aura, and his voice was like thunder, rolling out. "What you said makes sense, that's right. However, let me eat him first, then we'll talk, how about it?" After saying that, Long Yukuan extended his claw and pressed down on Zhan Tianping's head. Just as the claw was about to press down on Zhan Tianping's head. At this moment, "Yo, Long Yukuan, you've actually learned to be shameless." This voice startled Long Yukuan, and he immediately stopped what he was doing. He swept his gaze around and said, "Who is it? Can you come out and meet me?" Haha, laughter rang out. Immediately after, a figure rapidly descended from the sky and stood in front of Long Yukuan. Looking at this man, Long Yukuan's expression changed slightly, and then, the corners of his mouth curled up. "I was wondering who it was, so it's you, Lei Aotian." As soon as these words came out, there was dead silence all around. Everyone stared at the Thunder Tribulation ruler. That kind of shock and disbelief was written all over everyone's faces. What? Laotian? Isn't he controlling the Thunder Tribulation and not asking about worldly affairs? Why did he come here? That goes without saying, it must be for the primordial chaos chi. With so many great forces coming, how can we have a share of the primordial chaos chi? Regarding these, the Thunder Tribulation ruler acted as if he did not hear them. He looked at Long Yukuan and said with a smile, Long Yukuan, he is a friend of a terrifying existence. This seat will give you a piece of advice, let him go, otherwise you will definitely regret it. Terrifying existence? Regret? The corners of Long Yukuan's mouth raised, revealing a contemptuous smile. This seat has lived for so long, and I still don't know what regret is. Today, I won't let him go, what can you do to me? After saying that, Long Yukuan stretched out his sharp claws and grabbed at Zhang Tianping. Buzz, the Thunder Tribulation ruler flashed and instantly disappeared. When he appeared again, he was already in front of Long Yukuan, aiming at his stomach and punching. The speed was so fast that Long Yukuan had no time to react. Boom! With a loud noise, Long Yukuan flew out like a kite with a broken string. He used a lot of strength to stabilize his figure. A wisp of blood slowly overflowed from the corner of his mouth. He looked at the Thunder Tribulation ruler, revealing a look of disbelief. You, how can your strength be so strong? Dead people don't need to know. After saying that, the Thunder Tribulation ruler continued to pounce towards Long Yukuan. Boom! Boom! The two people fought together, earth-shattering loud noises kept coming. The entire heavens and earth changed color. Terrifying air waves kept shaking around the two people. After sweeping a certain range, they dissipated. It looked like the two people deliberately restrained their strength. Zhan Hong and Wu Tai looked at this scene, secretly wiping a cold sweat. A look of dread was written all over their faces. After a long time, the two calmed down. Wu Tai gave a look, and Zhan Hong immediately understood. The two figures flashed and appeared in front of Di Tianping. Without waiting for Zhan Tianping to react, one on the left and one on the right, they controlled Zhan Tianping at the same time. You two old things are too shameless. At this time, a voice came into the two people's ears. Who? The two looked startled and swept their eyes around. However, what was waiting for them was a stick. Eat my stick. A loud explosion shook their ears. At the same time, an iron stick hit the two people. Boom! Boom! Two loud noises. Zhan Hong and Wu Tai's bodies flew out like broken kites, fell heavily to the ground, and exploded a piece of rock. The six-eared macaque took back the iron stick, carried it on his shoulder, looked at Zhan Tianping, and asked, Are you okay? This sound awakened Zhan Tianping. He looked at the six-eared macaque's ears, and a touch of fear flashed across his face. I'm fine, I wonder who you are? My name is Sun Wuning, you can call me Old Sun, said the six-eared macaque. Chapter 466. That's six-ears macaque. What? The ancient demon six-eared macaque has been resurrected? My God, what should we do? Run. Legend has it that he was afflicted with the ultimate chi and turned into a demon king of slaughter that committed all kinds of evil. This doesn't look like it at all. The surrounding cultivators all stared at the six-eared macaque in confusion. The six-eared macaque acted as if it did not hear anything. He looked at Zhan Tianping and said with a smile, Young Master asked me to take you there. Young Master? Is it Young Master Sun Hao? Zhan Tianping was shocked. That's right. Six-ears macaque nodded. Hearing this, Zhan Tianping's face lit up with uncontrollable excitement. He looked at six-eared macaque and nodded with a smile. Old Sun, please take me there. All right. The six-eared macaque nodded and brought Zhan Tianping towards the crowd. Seeing this scene, the onlookers were like mice that had seen a cat, scattering in all directions. The only one who didn't run was Sun Hao. He stood there, calm and composed. The six-eared macaque flew forward with Zhang Tianping, stood in front of Sun Hao, and saluted respectfully. "Young master." "Greetings, young master." Such a scene directly stunned the onlookers on the spot. Everyone had a look of disbelief on their faces. Six Ears Macaque is so respectful to that person? Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Is this a dream? How could such a peerless demon be so obedient in front of a mortal? Who is that person? How could she have such charm? At this moment, Sun Hao became the focus of everyone's eyes. Everyone's gaze was fixed on him, not moving an inch. Sun Hao turned a blind eye to these. He looked at Zhang Tianping and helped him up with a smile. "Young Master Zhang, there's no need to be so polite. Young Master, I'm really sorry. I didn't sell any of your boat cores. And I even used a few. I'm really sorry." Zhang Tianping looked at Sun Hao with a guilty face. "Don't worry, those are just some small things, not worth mentioning. Who do you think will win?" Sun Hao pointed to the Thunder Tribulation ruler and Long Yukuan, who were fighting above the void, and asked. "Young Master, I think it's Lei Aotian," Zhang Tianping said. "Young Master, I guess Long Yukuan," Six Ears Macaque said. And Sun Hao smiled and nodded, staring at the sky. Boom! The Thunder Tribulation ruler and Long Yukuan fought more and more fiercely. The entire sky was constantly twisting. Space was recovering in the midst of shattering, and shattering in the midst of recovering. For a time, they were locked in a deadlock, and the victor couldn't be determined. When the onlookers saw this scene, they could not help but wipe the cold sweat on their foreheads, thinking that it was a close call. This is too scary. Even a battle between deities wouldn't be this scary, right? Not necessarily. However, the battle between the two of them is at least as powerful as a fifth-grade lower deity. As expected of two juggernauts. How impressive! The sounds of discussion continued. After a long while, only then did the battle stop. The two of them separated and looked at each other. They both seemed to be fearful of each other. "Xiaolei, stop playing." At this moment, a voice came directly into the ears of the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. This sound rose. The Thunder Tribulation ruler nodded with a smile and saluted in the direction of Sun Hao. "Yes, young master. Next, I'm going to get serious." The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign looked at Long Yukuan with a smile and said, "Serious? I'm going to get serious. You think I'm afraid of you? Come on." After speaking, Long Yukuan went straight to the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. Howl! A dragon roar shook the sky and cracked the earth. A giant dragon covered the entire sky, making people's scalp tingle. Buzz! After Long Yukuan changed into his original body, his aura skyrocketed. He stretched out his sharp claws, enveloped the entire Sky Dipper City, and went straight to the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. The terrifying pressure fell from the claws, enveloping the entire Sky Dipper City. At this moment, the billions of cultivators in the city, no matter how strong, were like trapped in a quagmire at this moment, unable to move. They looked at the sharp claws falling from the top of their heads, and their scalps couldn't help but explode. Looking at the falling claws, the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign's face did not change. He stretched out his palm unhurriedly and blasted at the claws. Endless thunder light rushed in the hands of the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. In an instant, it formed a lightning ball and blasted on the claws that covered the sky. Boom! There was an explosion, and the world trembled. Endless thunder light galloped on Long Yukuan's claws, and in the blink of an eye, it enveloped his whole body. Howl! A shrill scream resounded through the world. Long Yukuan's body trembled violently and shrank rapidly. In less than a moment, he turned into a human form. Long Yukuan's whole body was emitting black smoke. From time to time, thunder light jumped on his body. He pointed at the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign, his face full of disbelief. How can you be so strong?" Why? Long Yukuan roared. The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign grinned. The dead don't need to know. You dare to kill me? Aren't you afraid of my clan's ancestor? He is a god. Just you, can you be his opponent? Long Yukuan said. Haha, the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign looked up to the sky and laughed. So what if he is a god? Do you think this seat is still afraid of that old fart? As soon as these words came out, there was dead silence all around. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign, their faces full of disbelief. My God, the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign is too awesome. He even dares to scold the Dragon Ancestor? This is not awesome, this is obviously stupid. Yes, the Dragon Ancestor, that is a god. Those who have scolded him seem to be dead. It seems that the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign is dead for sure. Everyone looked at the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign and secretly sighed. Long Yukuan looked at the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign and couldn't help but pick his ears, revealing a look of disbelief. You dare to scold my clan's ancestor? Long Yukuan asked. So what? The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign was not afraid at all. Looking at Long Yukuan, he grinned. Even if that old fart stands in front of me, I will still scold him. That old fart has lived for so long, it is time to leave this world. Always bullying the myriad races, is he still considered a thing? If he dares to run in front of me, I will definitely beat him until he looks for his teeth on the ground. The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign said one sentence at a time. The whole scene was getting quieter and quieter. Everyone looked behind the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign, opened their mouths wide, and murmured for a long time without saying a word. All of them were sweating for the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign sensed that the atmosphere was not right. Turning around, he couldn't help but tremble. An indescribable coldness rushed up from the soles of his feet, flowed through his meridians, and poured into his bone marrow. The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign's body trembled uncontrollably. Only to see, in front of him, an old man appeared. This old man stood there, as if he was not there. If one did not look carefully, they could not sense his existence at all. Hee. The old man smiled coldly. His eyes were like torches, staring directly at the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. Little guy, didn't you want to beat this seat until I look for my teeth on the ground? Chapter 467. Thunder Tribulation Sovereign looked at the old man in front of him, his body trembling uncontrollably. Little fellow, didn't you want to beat me until I'm looking for my teeth all over the floor? Why don't you dare? The old man walked toward the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign step by step, his aura surging. In an instant, it wrapped around the Thunder Tribulation ruler. The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign's body was imprisoned, unable to move at all. You are Long Tianxing? The Lightning Tribulation Chief Sovereign asked. Not bad. The old man nodded. Long Tianxing, even if you are a god, so what? Would this seat still be afraid of you? Seeing Sun Hao not far away, the Thunder Tribulation ruler was full of momentum and was not afraid at all. As soon as these words came out, there was dead silence all around. Everyone's eyes widened as they stared at the Thunder Tribulation ruler. My heavens! Lei Outyan is really awesome. He actually did what he said. He actually scolded the Dragon Tribe Patriarch right in front of him. There aren't many people in the entire mortal world who have such courage. This courage is really impressive. Even in death, he can still laugh proudly in the underworld. What a pity. He only has the guts but no brains. All the cultivators looked at the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign with different expressions. The corners of Long Tianxing's mouth twitched, and a cold, killing intent flashed in his eyes. His eagle-like eyes were fixed on the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. Old thing, what are you looking at? I've already said that even if you're here, I'll still give you a good scolding. How many years has your dragon race bullied the myriad races? How many lives have died in your stomachs? Thunder Tribulation Sovereign's words were getting sharper and sharper. Every sentence was like a small knife that dug into Long Tianqing's chest. Since you want to die so badly, I'll fulfill your wish. After saying that, Long Tianqing's figure flashed and instantly appeared in front of the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. His claws went straight for the neck of the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. He squeezed hard. He did not break the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign's neck as he had imagined. An indescribable force came from the claw. Beads of sweat appeared on Long Tianqing's forehead. His divine will enveloped the entire stellar sky city. He scanned the area, not to mention the deities that were stronger than him. Not even a single deity could be found. To be able to suppress him like this person's strength was definitely not simple. It was likely that he would need to use his secret treasures to have a chance of dealing with him. Long Tianqing thought to himself and roared. "Who is it?" His voice reverberated through the air. However, no one responded. "Hiding your head and showing your tail, what kind of man are you?" Long Tianqing roared. As soon as these words came out, a burst of laughter rang in his ears. Turning his head, he saw a young man in white smiling at him. He had no idea when he had appeared here. There were no energy fluctuations coming from his body. He looked just like a mortal. This person was Sun Hao. "You?" Long Tianqing looked at Sun Hao and couldn't help but frown. The methods were exhausted, and Sun Hao's strength could not be seen. "Senior, cultivation is not easy, please show mercy," Sun Hao said. "Show mercy? Who do you think you are?" Long Tianqing didn't say anything. Long Yukuan pointed at Sun Hao and scolded him. "How dare you be rude to the young master?" The Thunder Tribulation Lord stretched out his hand and twisted it hard. Kacha, the sound of joints cracking could be heard. Long Yukuan's fingers were broken by the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. He was in so much pain that he gasped and broke out in cold sweat. "Let go! Let go of your coal!" The Thunder Tribulation Lord not only didn't let go, but his power was even more violent. A terrible scream came out of Long Yukuan's mouth. He looked at Long Tianqing and cried for help. "Father, save me! Let go!" Long Tianqing shouted softly and rushed straight to the Thunder Tribulation Lord. Sun Hao smiled slightly, stretched out his finger unhurriedly, aimed at the front and pointed. Immediately, a wave of air bounced up from Sun Hao's fingertips and went straight to Long Tianqing. Boom! Long Tianqing's body stepped straight back, and it took a lot of time to stabilize his figure. He looked at Sun Hao, his face full of fear. Such a scene, in the eyes of the onlookers, all widened their eyes, and their faces were full of shock. "Oh my God, am I dreaming? He repelled the dragon Ancestor with one finger? There is no power fluctuation on him, is this true? A mortal can be strong to this extent. My ancestor, the middle god, was so easily repelled by him? He is too terrifying. He must also be a god looking so handsome, so perfect that there is no fault to pick out. I don't know if he has a Tao companion. If I can become his Tao companion, how good would that be? Come on. With your weak strength, even if you become his Tao companion, can you stand it when you dual cultivate with him? I have to accept it even if I can't stand it." Exclamations kept ringing out. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Sun Hao. The expressions of worship, mystery, doubt, and awe kept changing on their faces. Long Yukuan looked at Sun Hao, his face changing. This person blasted his father back with one finger. How strong was his strength? It was probably far beyond the middle god realm and reached the realm of the superior god. In front of the superior god, how could his father be his opponent? "It's over." Long Yukuan's face showed a touch of regret. At this moment, he completely forgot the attack of the Thunder Tribulation Lord. In his heart there was only one sentence: "Long Yukuan, he is a friend of a terrifying existence. I will give you a piece of advice, let him go, otherwise you will regret it." This sentence kept shaking in his mind, and it didn't dissipate for a long time. remorse and bitterness kept changing on his face. The Thunder Tribulation Lord glanced at Long Tianqing, who was blasted back and the corner of his mouth raised, overconfident and dared to fight with the young master. Retracting his gaze, the Thunder Tribulation Lord stared at Long Yukuan. "How is it? Do you regret it?" the Thunder Tribulation Lord said with a smile. Long Yukuan opened his mouth, unable to refute. "It's useless to regret now. Let me tell you, no one can save you today." After speaking, the Thunder Tribulation Lord stretched out his right hand and grabbed forward. Various colors of lightning sprang up in his hand. In the blink of an eye, a colorful lightning ball was formed. On the lightning ball, a frightening power burst out. Long Tianqing's face changed drastically when he saw this scene. "Stop, Liao Tian, you stop quickly!" Long Tianqing roared. "Old man, do you think I will stop just because you tell me to? Isn't it very shameful? Today, it's useless for you to shout again." The Thunder Tribulation Lord deliberately slowed down and grabbed the lightning ball and blasted it toward Long Yukuan. "Liao Tian, you don't force me. If you force this seat, don't blame me for destroying the entire Sky Dipper city." Long Tianqing's voice was cold, and his killing intent surged. However, there was no effect. "Old man, just come. As long as you're not afraid of your own death," the Thunder Tribulation Lord said with a smile, slowly blasting toward Long Yukuan. After so many years, there was finally a day of exhilaration. Because of Long Tianqing, he had let the dragon race go many times. From today on, he no longer had to look at the dragon race. This feeling was very good. Fortunately, he didn't attack the young master at the beginning, otherwise there would be no today. The Thunder Tribulation Lord thought secretly, looking back at Sun Hao, showing a grateful look. The lightning ball in his hand burst out with a soul-stirring power, blasting toward Long Yukuan. Chapter 468. I don't care who you are. You dare to touch my son, prepare to accept destruction. Everyone, go to hell with me! Long Tianqing let out a roar. He opened his big mouth and spat hard. Buzz, the world trembled. A black bead came out of his mouth. Buzz, wisps of black electric light kept wandering on the bead, bursting out a destructive aura. The light of the whole world seemed to be absorbed by the black bead. The sky instantly darkened. In the blink of an eye, it was so dark that one couldn't see his fingers. Buzz, at this moment, the onlookers could only hear the sound of the electric current. Every time the electric light jumped, it was like hitting the chest, uncomfortable all over. My God, what is this thing? I can't move my whole body. There is no strength in my whole body. That's the demon-sinking dragon pearl. What? Demon-sinking dragon pearl? Is that the ancient demon dragon, demon-sinking dragon pearl? It seems that when the demon-sinking dragon pearl comes out, the sun and moon lose their light, and the world is destroyed. It's over, the entire Sky Dipper city is over. We are all over. The voice of despair resounded throughout the world. The sky was getting more and more oppressive. That kind of irresistible power enveloped the whole world. Ha ha! Long Tianqing looked up to the sky and laughed like crazy. Yes, this is the demon-sinking dragon pearl. This is what you forced me to do, everyone, go to hell. Long Tianqing's voice was long, echoing between heaven and earth, and lingering for a long time. Buzz, the demon-sinking dragon pearl slowly fell. The terrifying pressure went straight to the Thunder Tribulation Lord. Kacha, the lightning ball in the Thunder Tribulation Lord's hand cracked. Immediately afterward, boom! The lightning ball burst directly and exploded into nothingness. The Thunder Tribulation Lord looked up, his pupils shrank, and his face changed drastically. Buzz, the demon-sinking dragon pearl exuded a terrifying power and quickly fell down. Plop! The Thunder Tribulation Lord's body trembled, and he knelt down uncontrollably, shivering. Sun Hao looked at this scene with a calm expression. The ancient demon dragon's dragon pearl? That's all. Sun Hao secretly shook his head. Just as he was about to stretch out his right hand to grab the demon-sinking dragon pearl, he raised his eyebrows and raised the corner of his mouth. Someone's coming. Sun Hao retracted his right hand and stood there calmly with his hands behind his back. The demon-sinking dragon pearl was about to hit Sun Hao's head. At this moment, "Stop!" A loud shout came from the sky. The demon-subduing dragon pearl flew into the void uncontrollably. The world regained its brightness. Long Tianqing's expression changed drastically when he saw this. Raising his head, he heaved a long sigh of relief. They saw. In the sky, a woman slowly floated down. In her hand was the demon-sinking dragon pearl. The woman stood in the air, looking at the demon-sinking dragon pearl in her hand, a look of joy on her face. Her appearance instantly attracted everyone's attention. Who is she? How can it control the demon-sinking dragon pearl? I know her. She is Long Yuejiao, the daughter of Long Yukuan, and also the princess of the dragon clan. She is a famous genius. What, Long Yuejiao? So, she's Long Tianqing's granddaughter? Didn't she go to Rulai Buddhist land? Why did she come back? Was she eliminated? Impossible. Few people can match her talent. If she is eliminated, how many people can pass? Although she is only a demigod, she has a powerful aura on her body. I am afraid her strength is not weaker than that of a god. Exclamations kept ringing. The onlookers all stared at Long Yuejiao, showing a look of worship. Jiao? Long Yukuan looked at Long Yuejiao, and his eyes, which were originally gray, bloomed with a strange light again. He looked at the Thunder Tribulation Lord, the corners of his mouth raised. Lei Aotian, this time you are dead. Let me tell you, the demon-sinking dragon pearl recognizes Jiao, and only she can exert 100% of its power. Even the Supreme God, facing the demon-sinking dragon pearl, will only end up dead. Now kneel and beg for mercy. I can plead with Jiao and give you a quick death. What do you think? Long Yukuan said. Beg for mercy, give me a quick death? He, the Thunder Tribulation Lord, stretched out his palm and slapped down at Long Yukuan. Pa! A crisp sound resounded through the world. At this moment, everyone's eyes were attracted. Everyone's eyes widened, showing unbelievable expressions. They stood in place, motionless. You dare to hit me? Long Yukuan roared. Jiao, don't be stunned, hurry up and do it. This sound awakened Long Yuejiao. She turned her head and looked, sighing secretly. Shut up! A loud shout shocked Long Yukuan's body, and his face was full of doubts. Even Long Tianqing was full of doubts at the moment. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Long Yuejiao, motionless, only to see. Long Yuejiao took the demon-sinking dragon pearl, glanced around, and finally stared at Sun Hao. Dong, she walked towards Sun Hao step by step, and with every step, her heart beat violently. A hint of nervousness was written all over her face. Fortunately, Grandpa did not make a big mistake. I came in time. If I was a little late, I'm afraid. I don't know if young master can forgive us. If someone has to die, then it'll be me. Long Yuejiao secretly thought, walked in front of Sun Hao, and directly knelt down. Plop! His knees hit the sky, shaking the sky constantly. Such a scene directly stunned everyone in place. Everyone's expression was similar in surprise, as if they were scared silly. What's going on? Long Yuejiao actually knelt down to that mortal? Mortal? Only a fool like you would think that he is a mortal, right? That's right. It seems that this person is by no means a mortal, but an existence that we can't see through. Even so, why did this Long Yuejiao kneel down to him instead of fighting with him? The color of doubt was written on everyone's face. Young master, I'm really sorry. Grandpa has eyes but can't see Mount Tai. Please forgive him. Also, my father doesn't know the rules, and offended young master. If young master really wants to punish, please punish me. I forgive the death of my father and grandfather. As soon as these words came out, Long Yukuan and Long Tianxing's faces changed drastically. Jiao, why are you afraid of him? Using the demon-sinking dragon pearl, it's not a problem to destroy him. Long Tianxing and the others roared. Shut up! Long Yuejiao shouted loudly, and the two closed their mouths. Grandpa, father, do you think that in the demon-sinking dragon pearl, you can be the young master's opponent? The young master didn't kill you, that's because the young master is kind-hearted. If you make another big mistake, no one can save you. Long Yuejiao's voice was like thunder, echoing between heaven and earth. Everyone looked at it stupidly. For a while, they were stunned in place, and they didn't calm down for a long time. Chapter 469. Young Master, this demon-sinking dragon pearl is not a treasure for you at all. However, this is a little gift from us, please accept it. Young Master, please punish me. It's all my fault for not sending the news back to the Dragon Clan in time. Long Yuejiao knelt in front of Sun Hao, holding the demon-sinking dragon pearl above her head with both hands. Sun Hao looked at this scene and smiled slightly. Get up. Sun Hao took the demon-sinking dragon pearl, held it in the palm of his hand, looked up and down, and shook his head for a while. This thing really didn't have much use for him. I won't accept this thing. As for what you have done, you have not committed an unforgivable crime for the time being. As long as we don't make mistakes according to the previous agreement. Sun Hao said. Hearing this, Long Yuejiao showed an uncontrollable surprise. She performed the ceremony of 3 kneeling and 9 kowtowing to Sun Hao. Thank you, young master, thank you. Taking back the demon-sinking dragon pearl, Long Yuejiao retreated. Taking Long Tianxing and Long Yukuan, after kneeling and kowtowing to Sun Hao, she quickly left. They came to a deserted place. Jiao, why are you doing this? Yes, the demon-sinking dragon pearl can even kill the supreme god. Why should we be afraid of him? Long Tianxing and Long Yuejiao's faces were full of puzzlement. Long Yuejiao looked at the two and let out a long sigh of relief. Fortunately, I came in time, otherwise, grandfather, father, you two will be scared out of your wits. You don't know how terrifying the young master is. Then, Long Yuejiao told them about what happened in the Buddha kingdom. Long Tianxing and Long Yukuan listened to these, opened their mouths wide, and murmured for a long time without saying a word. A touch of fear was written all over their faces. That mortal, no, that senior, turned out to be such a terrifying existence. Long Tianxing secretly wiped a cold sweat. Don't call me senior, just call me young master. Long Yuejiao said. Good. The two nodded. Fortunately, there is that young master, otherwise, I am afraid you will also become a puppet of Buddha. Long Yukuan said. That's right, that young master is broad-minded, we can't compare. I, Long Tianxing, must learn more in the future. Father, that young master's kindness to our clan will never be forgotten. Are we going to leave just like that? Long Yukuan asked. What else do you want? Let's go and fight? Long Tianxing said. Father, that's not what I meant. That young master is so good to Jiao, how can I not thank him in person? Long Yukuan said. Long Tianxing slapped his thigh. Why didn't I think of that? Let's go now. Firstly, to apologize, and secondly, to express my gratitude. Go. The 3 figures instantly disappeared from where they stood. In the sky above Stellar Sky City, the densely packed cultivators stood in place, staring at Sun Hao blankly. Admiration and respect were written all over their faces. Too powerful, too mighty. In the entire mortal world, I'm afraid this young master is the strongest. Isn't that obvious? Even the Dragon Clan's patriarch returned in defeat. Who else can be young master's opponent? If young master wasn't here today, I'm afraid we would have been in deep trouble. So handsome, he's so handsome that he's perfect. I love it. I like him too. I really want to be his Tao companion. Cries of surprise could be heard continuously. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Sun Hao. The Thunder Retribution Lord walked behind Sun Hao, like a guard, standing there proudly, showing a smug look. Young Master! Six-eared Macaque and Jean Tianping stepped forward and saluted with their fists. And Sun Hao nodded slightly and looked at Jean Tianping. Young Master Jean, are you going to the Shadow Realm? Young Master, with my little strength, I can't even break the aura shield. Let alone go to the Shadow Realm. Jean Tianping said. Then do you want to go? Sun Hao asked. Of course. Jean Tianping nodded heavily. After a while, I will be able to reach the 9th grade demigod, and then I can start to condense the divine spark. If I can find the primordial chi, it will naturally be twice the result with half the effort. Young Master, are you going in too? Jean Tianping asked. Yes. Sun Hao nodded. Young Master, if you want to go in, you must do it early. Let's not talk about the heavenly realm. Just in our human realm, many people have gone in. If we go late, we may not find the primordial chi at all. Jean Tianping said. Many people have gone in? Such a strong aura shield, can anyone break it? Sun Hao asked. Young Master, there was not such a strong aura shield before. It was only in the last half-month that the aura shield became so strong. Now the aura shield is 10,000 times stronger than before. Although the aura shield has no attack power, it can affect a person's mind. Such a strong aura shield, once touched, will be confused, wandering around. If you encounter the turbulence of the universe, you will die without a doubt, Jean Tianping said. Listening to this, Sun Hao nodded slightly. That's fine, this matter should not be delayed, let's go now. Sun Hao was about to leave with the three people. At this time, buzz, the air trembled, and three figures walked out of the space ripples and stood in front of Sun Hao. Young Master, please wait a moment. Long Tianxing shouted. What's the matter? Sun Hao frowned slightly. Young Master, I'm really sorry for what happened just now. We are here to apologize. After speaking, Long Tianxing and the other two knelt down and kowtowed to Sun Hao. Get up, I am not that kind of narrow-minded person, Sun Hao said. Thank you, young master. On the faces of the three people, there was uncontrollable gratitude. However, they did not stand up. Young master, you saved my daughter in the Buddhist kingdom. Such a great kindness, I will never forget. Young master, we don't have anything to show. In the future, as long as you say a word, we will not hesitate to go through water and tread on fire. Long Tianxing and the other two knelt and kowtowed to Sun Hao again. It's enough that you have this heart. Remember, the dark era is about to begin, and improving your strength is the top priority. You guys take care of yourselves. After speaking, Sun Hao disappeared with the Thunder Tribulation ruler and the other two. Long Tianxing and the other two looked in the direction where Sun Hao disappeared, grateful. Young Master's righteousness, young Master's breadth of mind, it really makes me blush with shame. We will learn more from young Master in the future and learn to protect all living beings. Pass down the order, the dragon race is prohibited from eating all living beings to cultivate. Those who violate the order will be beheaded. Yes, ruler. These voices echoed between heaven and earth, clearly reaching everyone's ears. Everyone's eyes widened, showing a look of disbelief. Is this a dream? The old ancestor of the dragon race actually changed? That young master is really powerful. In a few words, he changed the entire dragon race. Now, we don't have to tremble when facing the dragon race anymore. Everything is thanks to that young master. In the crowd, Zhan Hong looked at the sky, and the expression on his face changed indefinitely. In the end, he showed a look of endless regret. Pa! He slapped himself hard in the face. His own son actually knew that kind of existence. If he knew, why did he search his soul space? The Zhan family should have risen, but now, he buried such a good opportunity in his own hands. It's all my fault. After speaking, Zhan Hong slapped himself again. Chapter 470. Big Dipper Galaxy. Outside the star-cracked star, there was endless astral chi. The astral chi emitted purple light. Under the illumination of the star, it exuded an intoxicating purple halo, very beautiful. Outside the astral chi, hundreds of millions of immortal boats stopped in the void. From a distance, it looked like a small boat about to set sail. The scene was spectacular and indescribable. Whoosh, in the group of immortal boats, a gorgeous light cut through the void, making a silent whistle, and directly blasted on the astral chi. The purple astral chi blasted out a hole from time to time. However, it was soon enveloped by the surrounding astral chi, airtight. It seemed that these immortal boats were doing useless work and could not break up the astral chi at all. In an immortal boat, several people looked at the screen and could not help but frown. This astral chi is getting stronger and stronger, and it can't be broken up at all. Yeah, not to mention that there are only 100 million immortal boats. Even if there are 10 times more, they can't make a whole. It seems that it is impossible to enter the shadow realm. Several people showed a depressed look on their faces. Suddenly, several people raised their eyebrows and looked at the screen, and they could not help but widen their eyes. What are they going to do? Don't tell me they want to rely on their flesh to walk into the astral chi. It seems that the three of them are noobs. Now there is a good show to watch. Several people showed a contemptuous smile on their faces. Their eyes were fixed on the screen. They saw. On the screen, 4 figures appeared. These 4 people were Sun Hao and the others. At this moment, they stood in front of the astral chi and looked into the distance. Don't move, still a little smart. That's not necessarily, looking at their posture, they want to rely on their flesh to break through the astral chi. Otherwise, let's make a bet. I bet they can't hold on for a breath, and they will become monsters. 1 breath, I don't think they can hold on for a moment. Yeah, what's there to bet on? If they rush into the astral chi and can hold on for a breath, I will die directly. After saying that, several people laughed, their faces full of contemptuous smiles. And such scenes were staged on different immortal boats. Everyone's eyes, through the screen, were focused on Sun Hao and the others. Young master, why don't you let me break it? The Thunder Tribulation Lord said. No. Sun Hao shook his head slightly. This aura chi is not simple. It seems that someone deliberately got it here. With your strength, if it's not good, you will absorb the aura chi, and then it will be troublesome. Sun Hao said. Upon hearing this, the Thunder Tribulation Lord secretly wiped his cold sweat. Damn fatty, if you don't have the ability, don't try to show off. 6-Ear Macaque said. If you don't speak, no one will think you are mute, said the Thunder Tribulation Sovereign. I'll say it, what's wrong? Do you want to fight? I, old son, am not afraid of you. The 6-Eared Macaque and the Thunder Tribulation Lord were in a heated argument. Jean Tianping stood at the side and smiled awkwardly, unable to say a word. All right. Sun Hao shouted softly, and the two immediately quieted down. All of you, step back a little, Sun Hao said. Looking at Sun Hao's serious appearance, Thunder Tribulation Ruler and the other 2 were also cautious. Yes, young master. The 3 of them quickly retreated far away. All of them hid behind those immortal boats. Haha, I'm dying of laughter. A bunch of cowards. I thought they were going to rush in. How disappointing. Charge in? Do you dare? Mocking laughter sounded in every immortal boat. Suddenly, everyone raised their eyebrows and looked at the screen in front of them, showing an unbelievable expression. They saw. Sun Hao took a big step and stepped directly into the aura. Everyone looked startled, full of disbelief. They saw. On Sun Hao's body, there was no imagined aura entering his body. Those auras seemed to be afraid of Sun Hao, and they all dispersed, keeping a certain distance from Sun Hao. Such a scene strongly stimulated everyone's eyeballs. How is this possible? He didn't use an immortal power shield. How can some aura hide from him? What about using an immortal power shield? Can it be that it can block the aura? He doesn't seem to have any power fluctuations on him. Is he immortal? Everyone muttered to themselves, staring at Sun Hao. The next second, their eyes were wide open, and expressions of shock appeared on their faces. They opened their mouths wide enough to stuff a few eggs. They saw Sun Hao stretched out his finger, pointed it forward, and blasted it. A silent wave of air, centered on Sun Hao's finger, spread in all directions. Wherever it went, the aura collapsed and dissipated. In the blink of an eye, around the entire Big Dipper star, calm was restored, and there was no trace of aura left. Such a scene strongly stimulated everyone's nerves. That kind of stupor, that kind of disbelief, that kind of shock. Words couldn't describe it. For a long time, they just regained a little consciousness. Hiss, the sound of inhaling cold air sounded in every immortal boat. They looked at Sun Hao on the screen as if they were looking at a terrifying monster. My ancestor, the aura was destroyed by his finger? Strong, too strong in this world, there is such a strong person. So terrifying, so powerful, really a model for our generation. What are you waiting for, rush? Whoever rushes into the star-cracked star first can enter the Shadow Realm first. The sound of explosions kept ringing. Soon, hundreds of millions of immortal boats moved together, heading straight for the star-cracked star field. However, buzz, a roar came from the star-cracked star and resounded in every immortal boat. The void that could not transmit sound, at this moment, seemed to be wrapped by some substance, and the sound could be clearly transmitted. The wind howled. Indescribable purple energy surged toward him from all directions. In the blink of an eye, it enveloped the entire star-cracked star cluster. The aura was 100 times stronger than before, like a purple liquid. Like the impact of a stream of water. The aura wrapped up hundreds of millions of immortal boats. This aura seemed to be unaffected by gravity, and flowed on the immortal boat. It entered from every pore of the immortal boats, like a liquid monster pouring into the immortal boats. No, help! Screams, shouts, cries for help, the voices intertwined and sounded in every immortal boat. Everyone's face revealed a look of despair. They each used their ultimate moves, frantically attacking the aura. However, it was useless. They used all their means and blasted the immortal boats into pieces. The liquid aura drilled into their nostrils and into their brains. The next second, everyone's eyes were blood-red. They looked like monsters with bloodshot eyes. All the cultivators let out a roar at the same time. The entire sky was shaking violently, as if it was about to collapse. The six-eared macaque and the other two looked at this scene, and all of them broke out in cold sweat, their faces full of panic. It was too dangerous. Fortunately, we were far away. Yes, we were almost controlled. Everything is thanks to the young master. Chapter 471. Above the void in the aura. Boom, one by one, the cultivators with blood-red eyes stood inside, making a burst of strange cries. These cultivators stepped forward one after another, forming a torrent, and rushed straight to Sun Hao. The terrifying power shook the entire void and made it buzz and tremble. Sun Hao turned a blind eye to this scene. His eyes stared directly at the celestial Dipper star as if he could see through everything. You want to stop me with this little trick? Sun Hao raised the corner of his mouth and stretched out his finger unhurriedly. Sarira, form is not different from emptiness. The scriptures flew up from his fingertips, like butterflies flying all over the sky, enveloping the entire void. Buzz, each scripture quickly drilled into the eyebrows of hundreds of millions of cultivators. At this moment, their originally lost consciousness was instantly restored. They stood in place, showing a puzzled look. Then their eyes were all fixed on Sun Hao. My God, is he Buddha? He can wave out countless scriptures with one finger? Such a terrifying Buddhist Tao, I have never seen or heard of it before. I'm fine, I'm not affected by the aura, my ancestor. It's all thanks to that Buddha. We are all shrouded in golden Buddha chi. Exclamations kept ringing out. They looked at Sun Hao, and all kinds of emotions kept changing. Gratitude, worship, awe, all of you retreat. A roar resounded through everyone's mind, awakening the cultivators who were stunned in place. Thank you, Buddha. Everyone used various means to leave the aura. Jie jie. A burst of laughter came from the star-cracked star, resounding through the entire void, clearly spreading to everyone's mind. The surrounding aura fluctuated rapidly and turned into women. These women were all purple, and their facial features could not be seen. Each woman looked exactly the same. They said at the same time, "It seems that I still underestimated you. I advise you that the Shadow Realm is not a place you can go. Go back." The purple woman said. Hee hee. Sun Hao smiled slightly, looked at these purple women, and said, "It must be you who destroyed the teleportation array, right?" "Yes." The woman in purple admitted it without any hesitation. "I didn't expect that you could only delay it for a month. You've really exceeded my expectations. I'm very curious. Why are you deliberately trying to stop me from going to the Shadow Realm?" Sun Hao asked. "Do I still need to say that? Don't you know that the Shadow Realm has mixed origin chi?" The woman in purple asked. "Are you afraid that I will snatch the primordial chi?" Sun Hao asked. "What do you think?" The purple woman said. Hee hee. Sun Hao smiled slightly. "I think you must have a secret. Why do you say that?" The woman in purple was shocked. "With your ability, it should be very simple to get the primordial chi, right?" Sun Hao said. "Ha ha!" The purple woman laughed heartily. "Do you think that this primordial energy is so easy to obtain? It's not as simple as you think," the purple-clothed woman said. "I see." Sun Hao nodded slightly, revealing a thoughtful look. "Sun Hao, leave here, I don't want to hurt you," the purple woman said. "You don't want to hurt me?" Sun Hao suddenly opened his eyes. His gaze was like a torch, staring directly at one of the purple women. He stretched out his right hand and grabbed forward. The purple woman's body was out of control, flying backward and landing in front of Sun Hao. "I think you are afraid of being killed by me, right?" Sun Hao looked at the purple woman in front of him and said, "What's the use of catching one of my clones? Among my billions of clones, only one exists, and it will be immortal. How can you hurt me?" The purple woman said. "Is that so?" Sun Hao smiled coldly and stared. Immediately, boom, the billions of purple women all collapsed into nothingness and disappeared. What disappeared was not only these purple women, but also the thick, liquid-like aura. The entire star-cracked star was restored to calm. Then, Sun Hao stretched out his finger and pointed at the purple woman again. The purple skin on the purple-clothed woman's body was directly burned into nothingness. In less than a moment, it turned into an ape-shaped monster with green hair all over its body. Squeak! The green-haired monster struggled wildly, letting out strange cries. Even after exhausting all means, it could not escape. "Hurry up and let this seat go!" The green-haired monster roared in human language. "Let you go? Why?" Sun Hao sneered. "This seat's master is not an existence you can imagine. If you dare to touch me, the master will definitely not let me go," the ape-shaped monster said loudly. "Master? Who is your master? What's his name?" Sun Hao asked. The green-haired monster was taken aback, and then laughed. "You want to know my master's name? Don't even think about it. If you want to kill me, then kill me. Anyway, this seat will still be resurrected if I die," the green-haired monster said. "If that's the case, as you wish." After speaking, Sun Hao squeezed hard. Boom, there was an explosion. The ape-shaped monster instantly exploded into powder and disappeared on the spot. A soul flew out of the ape-shaped monster. It quickly drilled into the void. "Want to run?" Sun Hao grabbed hard, and the soul flew backward uncontrollably and fell into Sun Hao's hands. "Spare me, my lord, spare me!" The green-haired monster's soul was extremely frightened, kneeling in Sun Hao's hands, kowtowing and begging for mercy. If the soul collapsed, there was basically no possibility of resurrection. "Say, who is your master?" Sun Hao said. "My lord, if I say it, will you let me go?" "You are not qualified to bargain, say it quickly." Sun Hao's voice was cold. Hearing this, the green-haired monster's soul body trembled and nodded again and again. I say. Actually, my master is," before the words fell. Boom, with an explosion, the green-haired monster's soul directly collapsed into nothingness, leaving not even a fragment. In other words, its soul didn't even have the chance to enter the Xianming Sea to regroup. Seeing this scene, Sun Hao couldn't help but widen his eyes. It's like this again. Last time, it was the great Buddha's avatar that exploded. This time, it was the green-haired monster's soul that exploded. The method was the same, and he couldn't see the slightest cause and effect. Being able to kill people so invisibly, his strength was far above himself. Who is it? What does he want to do? Is he trying to cover up something? Is it related to the chaotic star sea? Since he is so strong, why doesn't he kill me directly? Sun Hao thought secretly, his face full of doubts. He didn't kill me because someone is protecting me in secret? Or is the power of my previous life protecting me? A series of questions sounded in Sun Hao's mind. For a while, he couldn't figure it out at all. Forget it, going to the Shadow Realm is the most important thing. Sun Hao turned around and stared directly at the six-eared macaque trio. Whoosh, the six-eared macaque trio flew over and landed in front of Sun Hao. "Young master! Let's go!" Sun Hao waved his right hand, and a force enveloped the trio, taking them away quickly, instantly disappearing in place. P.S. Group 9477828868, welcome everyone to join. Chapter 472. The Shadow Realm, in the sky above a desert. Buzz, the sky shook with layers of ripples, and Sun Hao and the other three fell straight from the sky. Bang, they fell to the ground uncontrollably, and their faces were covered with dust. The four stood up, their faces full of shock. "What's going on? I can't use my spiritual power?" Zhang Tianpeng looked surprised. "As the rumors say, you can't use any spiritual power in the Shadow Realm," Six-Eared Macaque said. Sun Hao listened to this and secretly used the power of the law. He was surprised to find that even the law could not be used in the Shadow Realm. It seems that this is a world that relies on the physical body. Let's go. Sun Hao looked at the endless red desert and walked forward. "Yes, young master." The three followed closely behind. Whoosh, there was only a dim light over the desert. The wind blew on his body and it hurt. "Monkey, you have lived the longest. Why does the wind of the Shadow Realm hurt me?" Thunder Tribulation Lord asked. "How would I know? It's my first time here. But this world seems to be a small world that a super-powerful person spent countless years condensing. It was originally prepared to avoid the Dark Age. Unfortunately, before this world opened, that powerful person died," Six-Eared Macaque said. "Powerful person? What's his name?" Thunder Tribulation Lord asked. "It seems to be called Moon Ancestor," Six-Eared Macaque said. "Moon Ancestor? Moon Ancestor seems to be a sage. Yes. It is said that he obtained an innate spiritual treasure to condense this world. You should know that every innate spiritual treasure can only be found by chance, right?" Six-Eared Macaque said. "Of course I know this. Generally speaking, only sages have a chance to obtain innate spiritual treasures," Thunder Tribulation Lord said. "Yes. Only sages can find innate spiritual treasures. Moon Ancestor is really lucky to find a 9-orifice dragon pearl. This thing is a top innate spiritual treasure. Moon Ancestor spent millions of years to refine the 9-orifice dragon pearl and set it in the Shadow Realm. This thing can suppress the law of spiritual power. Even if a sage comes to the Shadow Realm, he can only rely on his body. You could say that the body is king. 6 Ears Macaque said. No wonder, so many people want to come in, they all rely on their physical bodies, not weak? Thunder Tribulation Sovereign asked. Not bad. The 6-eared macaque nodded. But no matter how strong their physical bodies are, how can they compare to the golden body of the Buddha? How can they compare to the physical bodies of the heavenly court? Based on what you're saying, doesn't that mean that the shadow realm belongs to the heavenly court and the Buddhist sects? The Thunder Tribulation Sovereign asked. That's not necessarily true. I, old son, have cultivated the immortal golden body. It's much stronger than the Buddhist golden body. 6-eared macaque said proudly. When Zhan Tianping heard this, he secretly nodded. Fortunately, I have listened to many of the young master's songs, and he has also given me many paintings. My body has also been tempered quite well. It's all thanks to young master. Zhan Tianping looked at Sun Hao's back, showing a grateful expression. The 4 of them headed in the same direction. The more he walked forward, the more surprised Sun Hao was. He found that he could not even release his divine will. It seemed that the world formed by the great Een underworld ancestor was not simple. Everything depends on the physical body? I don't know how strong my physical body is. The corner of Sun Hao's mouth raised, revealing a confident look. Time passed little by little. Soon a few hours passed. Suddenly, boom, a faint tremor came from afar. Someone is there? Young master, should we go and see? Of course, let's go and see. The 4 of them were extremely fast. After finding a stone wall, they stretched out their heads together. After a look, Sun Hao's expression changed. He saw dozens of fierce-looking men surrounded a woman and were attacking frantically. This woman was dressed in black. On the hem of her skirt, small knives like willow leaves flew around with her figure. Every time she raised it, stab, there was a sound of stabbing into flesh and blood. Boom! One by one, the men kept falling down. Stab, the woman in black held a black curved blade and stabbed it into the last man's neck. Blood splattered, and the man slowly fell down, pointing at the woman in black. Before he finished speaking, he fell to the ground and twitched a few times, then there was no movement. From beginning to end, in less than a moment, these people were killed by the woman in black. The woman in black glanced around and breathed a long sigh of relief. She found a place to sit down, looked at the wound on her chest, took out a pack of powder, and poured it on it. Severe pain came. The woman in black clenched her teeth and didn't say a word. She looked ahead and secretly clenched her fists. Han Xing, I will definitely save you. Sun Hao looked at this scene in a daze, surprised. Because he knew this woman. This person was none other than the woman who came to his residence not long ago and told him about the Shadow Realm, Qian Su. Unexpectedly, the first person to come in would meet her. There seemed to be 3 followers around her. Why were they all gone? Young master, that's Qian Su, should we? The Thunder Tribulation Lord also recognized Qian Su and asked. Wait. Sun Hao stopped the Thunder Tribulation Lord and listened attentively. Tap tap, a rush of footsteps came from a distance. The sound of these footsteps was very loud. It didn't sound like human footsteps. Someone is coming, wait. Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Several people lowered their heads. Tap tap, the footsteps were getting louder and louder. Qian Su's expression changed. Without thinking about it, she ran in one direction. However, before she could take 2 steps, she stopped in her tracks and looked ahead with a fearful expression. She saw a naked strong man riding a huge monster shaped like a wolf walk towards Qian Su step by step. Puff stab, the saliva dripping from the wolf-shaped monster's mouth splashed on the ground, burning into bursts of black smoke. Buzz, the mace in the naked strong man's hand was dragged on the ground, making a metal friction sound. Hearing it, her body trembled uncontrollably. Little lady, where are you going? The naked strong man licked his lips, revealing a cruel smile. Su quickly retreated and ran frantically. When the naked strong man saw this scene, he showed a smile of a cat catching a mouse. He continued to move forward. After a while, Su stopped again, looking ahead with a look of fear. Men riding on wolf-shaped beasts came from all directions and surrounded them. In the blink of an eye, Su was surrounded, impenetrable. Su looked at this scene with an unwilling expression on her face. Am I really going to die here? It's not easy to get a wisp of primordial qi. Han Xing, I'm sorry, the boss can't come to save you. P.S. Asking for monthly votes. Chapter 473. What are you doing? Su looked at the group of wolf-shaped beast riders in front of her, her face full of fear. What are we doing? The muscular man grinned. Aren't you asking the obvious? Little girl, hand over the primordial energy, and I can consider giving you a quick death. The muscular man said. I obtained the primordial energy, why should I give it to you? Su said. Why? Because we are from the Azura sect. The primordial energy obtained in the Azura sect's territory must be handed over. Do you need me to teach you this principle? The muscular man said. Azura sect, you occupy the Azura region. I obtained this primordial energy from the Demon Knight region. Su said. Haha, the Demon Knight region is now under my Azura sect's control. The muscular man said. You are robbing. Su's chest tightened, pointing at the muscular man and shouted angrily. So what if I rob? The muscular man was not afraid at all. Hurry up and hand over the primordial energy. I've already used it. Su said. Used? The naked man's smiling face instantly turned incomparably cold. Used? Good, very good. Later, I'll take off your clothes and check carefully. Brothers, I'll only check one by one, don't miss a single corner. As soon as these words came out. Good. Cheers rang out continuously. Everyone waved their weapons, raised them to the sky, and roared excitedly. Su looked at this scene, her face changed greatly. She calmed her emotions, took a deep breath, and prepared to fight at any time. If I don't check, later, I'll cut off her flesh bit by bit and refine the primordial energy. At this point, the muscular man pointed at Su and shouted, Go, capture her for me. Immediately, dozens of wolf-shaped beast riders rushed forward. Tap tap, the ground shook violently and dust flew. The wolf-shaped beast riders waved all kinds of weapons, sealing Su's surroundings. Every attack was aimed at Su's life. Su's figure floated, wandering among these weapons. Every time, he narrowly dodged a fatal blow. Meanwhile, the lancet on the skirt would always cut the bodies of these wolf-shaped beasts, catching them off guard. Pu-ci, another sound of a knife stabbing into flesh rang out. One of the wolf-shaped mounts fell heavily to the ground. After twitching a few times, there were no more movements. After a while, Su stood in place, her body riddled with scars. Around her, dozens of wolf-shaped beast riders had all fallen to the ground, motionless. Su's gaze swept over them, causing the other wolf-shaped mounts to tremble. Their faces were filled with fear. They involuntarily took a few steps back. A bunch of trash, they can't even deal with a little girl. Let me do it. The naked man rode the wolf-shaped monster forward. The huge mace buzzed in his hand. Su's face was filled with fear as she looked at the naked man. Her body slowly retreated. Little girl, you've killed so many of my men. No one can save you today. The naked man's face was filled with ice-cold, killing intent. He slowly walked towards Su. He was about to reach Su. At this time, so many people bullying a woman, your ability is not small. The sudden sound startled the naked man. There was someone here? He didn't find it? Who is it? Looking back, the naked man's pupils shrank. He saw 4 men walking forward step by step. The man in the lead was dressed in white, and his gestures were natural and looked particularly comfortable. These 4 people were Sun Hao and the others. The moment Qian Su saw Sun Hao, she couldn't help but look shocked. Young master? Who are you? Please tell me your name. The naked man cupped his fist and said to Sun Hao. It doesn't matter who I am. The important thing is that the girl is one of us. Sun Hao pointed to Qian Su and said. As soon as these words came out, Qian Su's body trembled, and an uncontrollable emotion welled up in her heart. The young master actually said that I am one of his people. Is this true? 2 lines of tears slowly fell from Qian Su's eyes. She stared at Sun Hao in a daze. She completely forgot the pain of the wounds on her body. One of your people? Then are you from the desolate pavilion? The naked man asked. Desolate pavilion? Sun Hao shook his head slightly. Is it possible that you are from Haotian Palace? The naked man looked at Sun Hao seriously, capturing Sun Hao's expression. Haotian Palace? Sun Hao was even more puzzled. He had never heard of these forces at all. The emotional changes of Sun Hao and others were clearly captured by the naked man. It turns out that you are not from Haotian Palace, then I am relieved. The naked man breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Sun Hao with a smile. You want to take people from my hands with a few words, do you really think my Azura sect is a decoration? So, you don't want to hand it over? Sun Hao's voice gradually became cold. Hand it over? Bah! Kill all of them for this seat. The naked man pointed at Sun Hao and roared. Deng deng, hundreds of wolf-shaped beast riders rushed straight to the 4 people. Sun Hao stood in place, his face unchanged. Qian Su looked at this scene, and her face changed slightly. Young master, be careful. As soon as the words were shouted out, Qian Su regretted it. With the young master's strength, there was no need for her to worry. She stared at Sun Hao and the others, motionless. She saw. Eat my sun rod. The 6-eared macaque stepped out, rushed into the crowd of wolf-shaped beast riders, and raised his hand. Boom! There was a loud noise and the world trembled. Dozens of wolf-shaped beast riders, like broken kites, flew out upside down and hit the ground heavily. After struggling for a few times, there was no movement. Dong, many weapons slashed on the 6-eared macaque, bursts of metal flames. There was no injury on the 6-eared macaque's body. Such a scene strongly stimulated the nerves of the naked man. He stood in place, unable to react for a long time. However, after a breath, he was the only one left standing in place. Hundreds of subordinates, none left, all died tragically on the spot. The 6-eared macaque jumped up and landed in front of the naked man. Boom! The wolf-shaped monster seemed to be unable to bear the weight of the 6-eared macaque and directly knelt on the ground, unable to stand up at all. And unstable, the naked man flew out upside down and fell heavily to the ground. He looked at the 6-eared macaque with deep horror in his eyes. The mace in his hand trembled violently with his body. Who are you? Do you want to go against my Shura sect? The naked man pointed at the 6-eared macaque and said. Shura sect? Never heard of it. The 6-eared macaque stepped forward, stretched out his hand and grabbed toward the naked man. Kill him! The naked man's eyes flashed fiercely. The mace in his hand had been accumulating power for a long time, waiting for this moment. Buzz, the huge mace aimed at the 6-eared macaque's head and smashed down. Chapter 474. Monkey, be careful. The Thunder Tribulation ruler's face changed drastically, and he roared loudly. However, it was too late. The mace flashing with cold light hit the 6-eared macaque's head directly. In other words, the 6-eared macaque directly put its head forward and hit the mace hard. Boom! There was a loud noise. The huge mace cracked open with a line. Then, it exploded. The naked man stared blankly at the mace with only one mace left, and stood in place. How could this be? How could his physical body be stronger than his own divine artifact? Even if it was an ordinary Buddhist Buddha, he would be injured by his own smash. Hee. The six-eared macaque ignored the naked man's surprise, grabbed his neck, and threw him directly in front of Sun Hao. Boom! The naked man fell directly to the ground and just knelt in front of Sun Hao. He struggled to stand up and looked at Sun Hao with a bitter face. Such a terrifying expert was actually just his hired thug. Then how strong was this person? I'm afraid it's unimaginable. Hiss, the naked man gasped, and his body trembled uncontrollably. Spare my life, spare my life. He crawled in front of Sun Hao and kept begging for mercy. I'll ask you a few questions, and if you answer well, I can consider sparing your life. Sun Hao said. Thank you, sir, thank you. If you have any questions, just ask. I will answer everything I know. The naked man kept kowtowing. Have you always lived in the Shadow Realm? Sun Hao asked. Yes, sir, I was born and raised here. The naked man nodded. Are you from the Shura sect? Sun Hao continued to ask. Yes, sir. What is the Shura sect's ranking in this Shadow Realm? Sun Hao asked. Sir, our Shura sect is as famous as the Desolate Pavilion, ranked second in this Shadow Realm. The naked man said. Then the one ranked first is from the Heavenly Haotian Palace? Sun Hao asked. Yes, sir. The naked man nodded. Hearing this, Sun Hao nodded slightly. Okay, I can spare you. Sun Hao said. Thank you, sir, thank you. The naked man kowtowed repeatedly, stood up, and fled in embarrassment. Sun Hao glanced over. The Thunder Tribulation ruler instantly understood Sun Hao's meaning. He kicked with his hind legs and leaped with all his might. Boom! With a loud bang, he jumped in front of the naked man and blocked his way. The naked man trembled and looked back at Sun Hao. Uncle, you said you would spare my life. That's right. Sun Hao raised the corner of his mouth. I did spare you, but it's none of my business whether they spare you or not. Pooh! The naked man's chest tightened, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. You can't be like this. If you kill me, the Shura sect won't. He didn't finish his sentence. The Lightning Tribulation Dominator raised his fist and threw a punch at the naked man. Purring! With a bang, the naked man's head exploded, and he died on the spot. Even when he died, he did not let out a single scream. Qian Su's expression kept changing as he watched this scene. He looked at Sun Hao with gratitude. It took her a long time to recover. Purring! Just as he took a step forward, he tripped over his injuries and fell to the ground. Miss Qian Su, are you okay? Sun Hao walked in front of Qian Su and helped her up. Thank you for saving my life, young master. Qian Su has no way to repay you. Before Qian Su finished speaking, her head tilted, and she fainted in Sun Hao's arms. Looking at the scars on Qian Su's body, Sun Hao's expression changed slightly. He took out a tent from the soul space and placed it on the ground. Then he held Qian Su in the tent. You guys, guard me well, don't let anyone disturb me. Don't worry, young master, as long as we are still alive, we will never let anyone disturb you. The Lightning Tribulation Dominator patted his chest heavily. Putting Qian Su on the ground, Sun Hao sighed secretly. Miss Qian Su, I'm sorry to offend you. He slowly took off Qian Su's clothes and looked at the scars all over her body, showing a look of unbearable. Miss Qian Su, if I had let you listen to my song at that time, I'm afraid you wouldn't be hurt today. Sun Hao took out the self-made powder, used both hands, and slowly smeared it on Qian Su's body. Miss Qian Su, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to touch you. It's really because you are injured here, I have to apply it. Sorry, I made a mistake, I touched the wrong place. A moment later, the powder worked. The scars on Qian Su's body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. More than that, a stream of black impurities flowed out of Qian Su's pores. After these impurities fell to the ground, Qian Su's whole skin became as white as jade, exuding a faint brilliance, beautiful like a work of art, making people can't help but look at it a few more times. Sun Hao looked at this beautiful body, and for a moment, he was stunned in place. See no evil. Sun Hao quickly withdrew his gaze. If I let Miss Qian Su be exposed to the air like this, how should I explain it when she wakes up? The girls in this world are too famous, it's better to help her put on clothes. However, her clothes have been broken, and it's really not appropriate to put them on again. If I put my own clothes on her, how should I explain it when she wakes up? For a moment, Sun Hao was in a dilemma. No matter, the most important thing is to help her put on clothes first. Miss Qian Su's whole body is black. I think she likes black clothes too. It just so happens that I made a black dress. Sun Hao murmured, and with a thought, he took out a self-made dress from the spiritual space. This dress was made when he was bored recently. Miss Qian Su is tall, not much different from Ru Meng, and it should fit well. Holding the clothes, Sun Hao helped Qian Su put on the clothes. Although this was the second time he dressed a girl, it was also clumsy. At the critical point, the clothes couldn't be pulled in for a while. I can't put it in, it's a bit big here. Sun Hao looked at Qian Su and muttered to himself. Miss Qian Su, sorry to offend you. After speaking, he stretched out two hands and pressed down. After squeezing hard, he finally put the clothes on. It's finally done. Sun Hao breathed a sigh of relief and secretly wiped a cold sweat. This feeling was like fighting with people, and it was really not a little tiring. If Miss Qian Su woke up, how should he explain it? After calming down, Sun Hao stood up and strode out of the tent. After Sun Hao left, Qian Su slowly opened her eyes. Looking in the direction where Sun Hao disappeared, she bit her lips and blushed. In fact, she woke up shortly after Sun Hao applied the medicine. The reason why she didn't open her eyes was that she was afraid of embarrassment. How can a person like the young master be so clumsy? Could it be that the young master hasn't done dual cultivation yet? I don't seem to have done dual cultivation either. I don't know what it feels like. What am I thinking? How can a person like the young master do dual cultivation with me? Suddenly, Qian Su raised her eyebrows and couldn't help but widen her eyes. Chapter 475. Qian Su touched her clothes and stood there in a daze. Her mouth was wide open, and she couldn't react for a long time. The clothes that young master gave me can actually nourish the soul? Furthermore, it can also enhance the strength of the body. I can't even see the grade. This is at least a high-grade divine artifact. Qian Su's mouth gaped open as an irrepressible expression of excitement appeared on her face. Not to mention this kind of defensive artifact, even an ordinary high-grade artifact could cause chaos in the heaven realm. The young master gave away such a precious treasure without batting an eyelid. In this world, besides the young master, who else could it be? He was sure that if he had worn this divine artifact just now, he would not have suffered any damage. How could the young master give such a divine artifact to me? It must be a test to see if I'm greedy. I actually want to take it for myself, really. Thinking of this, Qian Su's face couldn't help but turn red. Her face was as red as a peach, and she looked very charming. Young master, I am truly unable to repay your great kindness. If you can lend me this for 2 days, I should be able to save Han Xing and the others. Qian Su muttered to herself with a look of gratitude on her face. After a long time, she finally calmed down. He stood up and walked out of the tent. Miss Qian Su, you're awake? Sun Hao looked at Qian Su with a smile, and a touch of worry flashed away. His heart followed Qian Su's footsteps, beating violently. You won't come to find me to punish me, right? Soon, Qian Su stood in front of Sun Hao. Thank you for saving my life, young master. Qian Su stood in front of Sun Hao and bowed. Miss Qian Su, you're too polite. Seeing that Qian Su did not question him, Sun Hao breathed a sigh of relief. Young master, I really don't have anything to repay you with. This wisp of primordial energy is a gift to you. I hope you don't mind. Please accept it. After speaking, Qian Su took out a wisp of primordial qi and presented it in front of Sun Hao. Once this thing appeared, The eyes of Six-Eared Macaque, Thunder Tribulation Lord, and Jean Tianping shone brightly. They looked at the primordial chaos chi, their bodies trembling with excitement. That greedy gaze was not concealed at all. Miss Qiansu, you are too polite. This is something you obtained after going through a lot of danger. How can I accept it? Sun Hao said. Young noble, is it because you don't like it? Qiansu's expression darkened as tears welled up in her eyes. Seeing Qiansu's expression change, Sun Hao held the primordial qi in his hand. Since Miss Qiansu is so polite, then I will accept it. Many thanks, young master. Qiansu's gloomy face instantly brightened up, shining with an irrepressible radiance. Sun Hao held the primordial chaos chi and looked it up and down. The primordial energy shone with multicolored light, like a rainbow. It was very beautiful. Is this the primordial qi? Sun Hao was puzzled. Yes, young master. Qiansu nodded. I think I've seen this thing somewhere before. There seems to be a lot of it in that place. Sun Hao frowned, showing a thoughtful look. However, even after thinking for a long time, he still couldn't recall where he had seen the primordial chaos energy. Could it be that I've seen it subconsciously before? Or could it be that the memories hidden deep in my memories have been awakened? For a while, Sun Hao couldn't understand. Forget it, I won't think about it anymore. Withdrawing his mood, Sun Hao looked up at Qiansu. He saw that Qiansu was looking at him, wanting to speak but hesitating. Miss Qiansu, if you have something to say, just say it, Sun Hao said. When Qiansu heard it, her face turned red, and her voice was so light that she could hardly hear it. Young master, I still have something to do and need to leave. Can you lend me your clothes for 2 days? After saying this, Qiansu regretted it. This kind of treasure, it was already a great kindness for the young master to lend it to her for a while. How could he lend it to her for 2 days? This kind of thing, she even had the face to ask. Miss Qiansu, what are you talking about? As soon as these words came out, Qiansu's body trembled, and her face changed drastically. Sure enough. Young master, I won't lend it to you, don't be angry. I will take it off and return it to you immediately. Qiansu said. Humph. Sun Hao snorted coldly, pretending to be angry. Miss Qiansu, do you look down on my clothes? No, no, Qiansu's face was pale with fright, and she waved her hand repeatedly. Young master's clothes are supreme treasures, how can I dislike it? Then how can there be a reason to take back the things that this seat gave out? Sun Hao said coldly. As soon as these words came out, Qiansu stood in place stupidly, and she didn't come back to her senses for a long time. That kind of shock was indescribable in words. The things that this seat gave out, this sentence had been shaking in Qiansu's head for a long time. Was it really given to me by the young master? Qiansu muttered to herself, and her heart felt like it was hit by a storm, and she couldn't calm down for a long time. An indescribable sense of happiness flooded her whole body. Moved tears fell unconsciously from the corner of her eyes. Seeing Qiansu's tears, Sun Hao instantly panicked. Could it be that I was too fierce and scared Miss Qiansu? Or, Miss Qiansu found out that I gave her clothes and couldn't beat me, so she could only secretly wipe her tears? Thinking of this, Sun Hao showed a touch of guilt. Miss Qiansu, don't cry, I was wrong just now, I scared you. Sun Hao said. Young master, you misunderstood, I am moved. In my entire life, no one has ever given me such an expensive gift. Thank you, young master. After speaking, Qiansu stood in place, letting the tears slide down her face. She wanted to rush into Sun Hao's arms, but she didn't dare. Sun Hao walked forward, held Qiansu in his arms, and gently hugged her. She let the tears fall on her clothes. Sun Hao gently patted Qiansu's shoulder to show comfort. For a long time, Qiansu calmed down. She wiped the tears in her eyes, looked at Sun Hao and bowed. Young master, thank you for your shoulder. I didn't expect you to be so approachable, Qiansu said with a smile. Miss Qiansu, it's good that you are okay. Just now, you said that you are going to leave a few people. Are you going to find Han Xing? Sun Hao asked. This sentence awakened Qiansu. She nodded slightly, and her tears began to brew again. Young master, Han Xing and the others were caught by the Shura sect people. For me, they blocked the Shura sect people. It's all my fault, I'm too useless. I can't even protect my own little brother. After speaking, the tears in Qiansu's eyes fell uncontrollably. These days, she was chased along the way. The torture and grievances she suffered were quickly released at this moment. Sun Hao gently patted Qiansu's shoulder. Miss Qiansu, cry, when you finish crying, let's go save brother Han Xing together. I'd like to see how capable this Shura sect is. Sun Hao's face showed a touch of cold, killing intent. Young master, thank you. Qiansu's eyes were full of tears, and her face was full of gratitude. Young master seems to be angry. This Shura sect is dead for sure. That's right, this Shura sect must be uprooted. The six-eared macaque and the other two looked at Sun Hao in disgust in a low voice. Chapter 476. Young master, the most powerful force in the Shadow Realm is the Haotian Palace. This Haotian Palace is said to be a recently rising force. It seems to have been founded by someone from an external force. No one knows the name of the palace lord of the Haotian Palace. The world only knows that no one in the entire Shadow Realm can withstand a single punch from him. Anyone who fought against him in the Shadow Realm was killed with a single punch. So, everyone gave the Haotian Palace a nickname, the Rakshasa Punch. Qiansu stood beside Sun Hao and introduced it to him. Rakshasa Punch? Sun Hao frowned slightly. Is he from the heavenly realm? Young master, I'm not sure about this. No one knows where the Rakshasa Punch came from. Moreover, I also heard that behind the Rakshasa Punch, there is a powerful figure 10,000 times more terrifying. Qiansu said. 10,000 times more terrifying? Sun Hao looked cautious. It seemed that the strength of this Rakshasa Punch was not simple. Not to mention that there was a powerful figure 10,000 times more terrifying behind him. He must be careful when facing this person in the future. Sun Hao thought secretly. Sun Hao asked Qiansu, then do you know who this powerful figure 10,000 times more terrifying is? Young master, I don't know about this. This seems to have come from the mouth of the Rakshasa Punch. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe he's just using it to scare people, Qiansu said. Sun Hao nodded slightly. Then help me introduce this purgatory cage. Young master, the purgatory cage is actually a place used by the Shura sect to imprison prisoners. In his hands, these prisoners are treated like slaves. Every day, there will be dozens of slave fights in the purgatory cage. The winner will go to the next fight until death, and the loser will only die. So, once you are caught in the purgatory cage, you will basically die. Speaking of this, Qiansu's face showed a look of worry. I hope Han Xing and the others are still alive. They will. Sun Hao nodded slightly. Even if they die, I will go to the underworld to save them. Don't worry. Hearing this, Qiansu was extremely grateful. Looking at Sun Hao's eyes, the light kept flowing. Then, she continued her introduction. Young noble, the person in charge of the purgatory cage is the Azura's Gate Deputy Sovereign, the Dark Knight Azura. This person's fleshly body has reached the high god level, and his movement techniques are incomparably terrifying. He can come and go without a trace. Qiansu said. The high god realm? Sun Hao's face was filled with confusion. Young master, this is only the physical body realm. Saying that he has the body of a high god doesn't mean that he is a high god, but that his body is already capable of withstanding the power of a high god. I'm only a demigod now, but my fleshly body has reached the lower grade god realm, Qiansu said. Sun Hao nodded slightly, showing an expression of sudden realization. The body of a high god, right? His lips curled into a smile as he looked at Six Ears Macaque. 6 ears macaque, what realm is your physique at now? According to Miss Chien Su's classification, my body should be at God King realm. 6 ears macaque said. Chien Su's eyes widened as she stared at 6-eared macaque in shock. Don't look at me like that. I've cultivated the indestructible golden body before. When I recover to my peak, my body will at least be at the God Emperor realm. 6 ears macaque said. Alright, stop bragging. Let's go. Yes, young master. The 5 of them strode forward and quickly disappeared from the desert. In the Shadow Realm, at the edge of the Shura region, there was a small city called Hell City. In the center of Hell City, there was a huge fortress called the Hell Cage. The people locked inside were all cultivators captured by the Shura sect to be used in gladiatorial fights for entertainment. In the wrestling ring, kill, kill. Quick, stand up. Don't lie down, stand up for me. Damn it, I lost a lot of money because of you. Useless, you're really useless. All kinds of roars resounded throughout the entire wrestling ring. These voices stirred up people's blood. Stab. The sound of flesh being stabbed rang out. In the wrestling ring, a man was stabbed in the heart by a sharp blade. After twitching a few times, there was no more movement. The surviving strong man patted his chest heavily and roared to the sky. Roar! This voice shook the entire dueling ring, causing it to buzz. Good! We won! We won again! Cheers rang out incessantly. The Shura King is so powerful, we have to bet on him this time. Who else is his opponent? I want to bet on him too. Shura King, Shura King. Many people waved their right hands and hammered the sky. The whole scene was in an uproar. Buzz, the heavy iron gate opened, and the Shura King walked through it and disappeared from everyone's sight. Everyone, the next match will begin in half an hour. This time, the one who will fight the Shura King will be young Master Ice. The host stood on the stage and waved his right hand. A holographic projection appeared in front of everyone. In the picture, there was a man in blue. At this moment, he sat paralyzed on the ground, his face ashen. If Chien Su was here, she would definitely recognize this person. It was Han Xing, this cold ice young noble. Our Azura's Gate lost 10 experts to capture him. From this, it can be seen how strong he is. The next match is about to begin, please get ready. I suggest everyone to bet on young Master Ice. His odds are 1, 2. And if you bet on the Shura King, the odds are only 1, 25. It's not worth it. This is a chance to make a fortune, everyone must grasp it well, don't miss this opportunity. With that, the host turned around and strode backstage, disappearing from everyone's sight. After she disappeared, young Master Ice? Such a skinny body, how can he be the Shura King's opponent? And 1, 2? I won't bet even if the odds are 110, only a fool would bet on him. Well said, want to lie to us, no way. I'll bet on the Shura King. That's right, betting on the Shura King, that's a sure win. Let's go bet on the Shura King. The entire scene was in an uproar. Everyone was like a torrent, taking out the divine essence stones on them and quickly heading to the betting area. I bet on the Shura King to win 10 divine essence stones. I want to bet on the Shura King to win. Here are 100 divine essence stones. This is all my wealth. I also want to bet on the Shura King to win. Everyone's face revealed a look of excitement. One after another, they took out all their wealth, all betting on the Shura King. As for young Master Ice, he was detained alone. The salesperson who placed the bet revealed a bitter look from time to time, and advised with kind words, "Sir, you're betting all your wealth. If the Shura King enters, won't it be less nonsense? I want to bet everything." Humans, the more you advise them, the more they would not listen to you. Chapter 477. Arena backstage. A black-clothed man sat in his seat, looking at the huge screen in front of him, the corners of his mouth curling up slightly. A bunch of fools, so easily fooled. This time, I can earn a fortune again. Performance exceeded expectations. I believe the vice-sect master will give me a lot of rewards, right? The black-clothed man thought to himself, his expression becoming more and more smug. Shopkeeper, are we going to start? At this time, a woman came in and said, Don't rush, let them finish betting. The black-clothed man said, Yes, shopkeeper. The woman nodded slightly and strode away with big steps. Wait. The black-clothed man stopped the woman. Shopkeeper, do you have any other instructions? The woman was puzzled. Come here. The black-clothed man beckoned. With doubts, the woman walked to the black-clothed man's side. After listening to the black-clothed man's words, her pupils constricted and her expression changed drastically. This isn't too good. If they discover the truth, I'm afraid. The woman said, What are you afraid of? This is my Azura sect's territory. If they dare to be impudent, will the vice-sect master sit idly by? Besides, young Master Icyfrost is so powerful, dealing with the Azura King will be easy. He won't wait for the Azura King to act. Young Master Icyfrost will definitely kill the Azura King. The black-clothed man said. Shopkeeper, if that's the case, then why the need to do this? The woman was puzzled. I'm just in case. We bet so many divine essence stones this time. If we lose, our lives will be lost here, understand? The black-clothed man said. Yes, shopkeeper. The woman nodded heavily and walked away quickly. The surroundings of the arena were packed with people. Everyone's eyes were glued to the arena, their faces filled with excitement. Most people had bet their lives on the Azura King. It would be a lie to say they were not nervous. Time slowly passed, more and more people gathered. Many people's foreheads overflowed with fine beads of sweat. Why isn't it starting? The time is over. Yeah, hurry up and start. Many people could not sit still and started shouting. The entire scene became more and more intense. In the midst of the crowds shouting, the host finally walked out from backstage and stood in front of the stage. Dear guests, sorry for the long wait. In order to give everyone time to place their bets, we have deliberately delayed this by a quarter hour. At the same time, this is also to allow the Azura King to restore itself to its peak condition. I ask that everyone understand. The host's voice reverberated faintly, clearly reaching everyone's ears. Hearing this, many people revealed embarrassed looks on their faces. Isn't the Shura Gate being too polite? He's actually delaying the Azura King's recovery time. Looks like we've wrongly accused the Shura Gate. As expected of a great power, they're actually so honest. I'm truly touched. From now on, I'll only come to the Hell Cage to place bets. Me too. Hearing this, the host smiled. Thank you for your understanding. There's still a quarter of an hour before the 8th match begins. Let's wait and see who will emerge victorious. After the host finished speaking, he once again stepped backstage and disappeared from everyone's sight. After waiting anxiously for a while, the duel finally began. The host stood on the stage again and said, This round has finally begun. First, let us welcome our Azura King. After this sound, buzz, the heavy iron door slowly opened. A 5-meter-tall giant strode into the field from behind the iron door. He waved his fists and hammered heavily at the sky, causing the air to explode. Azura King, everyone followed Azura Han, waving their fists and shouting the Azura King's name loudly. The entire scene was in an uproar. After a long time, the scene gradually calmed down. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the Azura King. Sure enough, the Azura King's condition is obviously better than the previous match. Yeah, this time, he's definitely going to win. Thinking that I can earn 25% of the Divine Origin stones, my heart seems to be jumping out of my chest. Me too, I'm so excited. The host waved his hand and everyone stopped discussing. Next, let us welcome our new contestant, young Master Ice. After the host finished speaking, the thick iron door on the other side slowly opened. Han Xing walked out of the iron door, his eyes filled with a deathly gray color. He looked like he had no spirit at all. Such a scene, everyone could not help but sigh. Haha, too weak, too weak. With such strength, he dares to fight with the Azura King? He really doesn't know how to write the word death. No matter how strong he is, as long as the Azura King can win. That's right. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the arena. When the iron door closed, the host said, "No matter what means you use, one person will live and one person will die. The match begins now." Just as the voice fell, boom, the Azura King rushed towards Han Xing with huge steps. For this scene, Han Xing just stood there stupidly as if he did not see it. Boom, the huge fist, without any accident, smashed heavily on Han Xing's face. Han Xing's body flew out, hit the iron wall, fell to the ground like a dead fish, motionless. Good. Bursts of cheers constantly sounded. Everyone's face was filled with irrepressible smiles. This battle is simpler than I thought. Yeah, that young Master Ice is a complete weakling. Mighty, the Azura King is mighty. Exclamations continued. Everyone's eyes closely followed the movement of the Azura King's body. Only to see. The Azura King did not stop. He jumped up with his right leg. Like a cannonball, he stepped heavily on Han Xing's body. Boom, the ground trembled, dust flew up, shrouding the Azura King and Han Xing. When the dust settled, the Azura King stood there, raising his hands high. Won. Haha, he really won. Is it necessary to be so excited? Isn't this a sure thing? Why not announce the victory? Everyone looked up at the host with doubts. The host smiled and said, "The rule of this arena is to kill the opponent. I didn't announce the Azura King's victory, which means that young Master Ice is not dead." The host said, "He is not dead yet? No way." Azura King, twist his neck. Shouts constantly sounded. The Azura King looked puzzled, looking at Han Xing, his pupils shrank. Only to see. There was no injury on Han Xing's body. How is this possible? The Azura King was surprised. Can't you use a little strength? At this time, a voice came into the Azura King's ears. This voice, like the voice of the devil from hell, made the Azura King's body tremble. "You have some skills, but so what? Now that we're here, either you die or I live. I don't believe I can't kill you." After saying that, the Azura King pounced on Han Xing. Chapter 478. The Azura King grabbed Han Xing's foot and swung it back and forth. Boom! Boom! Han Xing slammed heavily into the ground, causing the entire arena to tremble and buzz. Every time they collided, the surrounding onlookers would shout loudly, and they seemed to be very excited. After a while, boom! The Azura King threw Han Xing to the ground. Han Xing bent his body, motionless like a dead fish. Seeing this, the Azura King's lips curled up in a smile. When he was about to wave his fist, he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. He found that the corner of Han Xing's mouth was moving. "It seems that you really haven't eaten. Weak, too weak." A voice came into his ears, making the Azura King's body tremble. A wave of anger surged in the Azura King's body. He stared at Han Xing, lifted his right foot, and stomped on Han Xing. Boom! Boom! Loud noises continued. Dust flew everywhere. Han Xing was stomped into the ground by the Azura King and disappeared. What appeared in front of everyone was only a deep pit in the shape of a human. Good. He should be dead now. Azura King, amazing. Mighty, you won. Cheers rang out continuously. The entire arena was in an uproar. That kind of enthusiasm couldn't be described with words. The Azura King looked at Han Xing and let out a long sigh. However, "Weak, too weak. You can't kill me like this." Two voices came into the Azura King's ears. He couldn't help but tremble, and fear spread all over his body. Fine beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. The other party didn't fight back, so he couldn't kill him. The other party's strength was far above him. This time, he was dead for sure. Thinking of this, the Shura king's face was full of unwillingness. Phew! He let out a long sigh and calmed himself down. Daughter, I'm sorry, I can't live. I'm sorry, I'm useless. Please forgive me, I'm really tired, let me rest. The Shura king murmured to himself, and 2 lines of tears fell from the corner of his eyes. Then, he looked at Han Xing and asked, You're so strong, why didn't you fight back? Because I want to die. Han Xing said. What? Want to die? The Azura king was puzzled. Even ants wanted to live. As an expert of this level, why would he seek death? He had suffered so much, and he had always wanted to live. Why did he want to die? Why? Azura king asked. There are 2 reasons. Han Xing opened his eyes and looked at the sky. His gaze could see millions of miles away. Only if I die can my boss live, Han Xing said. The Azura king was even more puzzled. Can't the 2 of them live together? After entering the hell cage, will the Shura gate let me out alive? With boss's personality, he will definitely come to save me at all costs. Only when I'm dead will she not put herself in danger. I hope my boss can live well, Han Xing said. As the Azura king heard this, he was moved to tears. Brother, you are truly righteous. Azura king, I never thought that a grown man like you would actually cry. Before I die, can you promise me one thing? Han Xing said. Brother, speak. Azura king said. When I die, you must use your full strength and loudly say that Han Xing has been killed by me. Han Xing said. Brother, I promise you. The Azura king nodded. Brother, if I die, can you also promise me one thing? Speak. Han Xing nodded. Brother, if you survive, please tell my daughter that your father is tired and needs to rest. Please forgive me. Azura king said. Your daughter? What's her name? Where does she live? Han Xing asked. My daughter's name is Chunya. She lives in Azura City. She is a maid at Hashin Mansion. Azura king said. All right, I promise you. If I live, I will tell this to your daughter. Han Xing said. Thank you. The Azura king looked at Han Xing with gratitude. That's right, brother. What's the second reason you want to die? The second reason is actually very simple. The arena needs to make a profit. They deliberately arranged for me to fight with you. Even an idiot would think that you could defeat me. The arena will naturally make a great profit. But they would never have thought that I would seek death, Han Xing said as he looked at the Azura king. Hearing this, the Azura king's complexion changed. Anger was written all over his face. He stood up and clenched his fists so hard that crackling sounds could be heard. Azura king, I will leave first. Han Xing looked at the Azura king. He raised his fist and aimed it between his eyebrows, preparing to punch. Plop, the sound of someone kneeling on the ground rang out. The Azura king half knelt on the ground. Black blood flowed out from the corners of his mouth. His entire skin rapidly turned a deep purple. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but not a single word came out. Boom! With a loud bang, the Azura king fell to the ground. After twitching several times, there was no more movement. Such a scene directly scared everyone in the arena to the point of stupefaction. Everyone's eyes widened in disbelief. He died? He was fine, how could he die? What the hell happened? I lost. My bet was lost just like that? Everyone's complexion was pale and extremely ugly. Compared to the cheering just now, the change was extremely obvious. Han Xing also stared blankly at this scene. Azura king. He called out a few times, but the Azura king did not respond at all. Damn it. Han Xing struggled to stand up. At this moment, how could he not understand that the Azura king had been poisoned? They were really unscrupulous for their own interest. If possible, he must uproot the Azura sect. Han Xing secretly clenched his fists, his face full of anger. The winner of this round is Prince Ice. Everyone, let's cheer and congratulate him. The host's cheerful voice spread clearly to everyone's ears. However, no one was cheering. Everyone's complexion was black and yellow, as if they were dead. Looking at the host's smug face, Han Xing could not help but be angry. He looked around and began to speak. Everyone, the Azura sect is greedy. They deliberately poisoned the Azura king to win your money. I should have been the one to die, but the Azura king was poisoned to death. Can you tolerate this? Han Xing's voice was like thunder, echoing faintly in the arena. Hearing this, the host's expression changed drastically. What? They deliberately poisoned him to death? I see, this Azura sect is too sinister. Smash, smash for me! Kill all the bastards of the Azura sect. The whole scene was in chaos. All the cultivators, like a torrent, rushed straight to the betting station. Boom! The waiter at the betting station was pressed to the ground by a group of cultivators and attacked fiercely. In the blink of an eye, he was hammered into a meat patty. Until death, he did not even let out a scream. A group of Azura sect guards rushed forward. Ding! The sword flashed. The angry immortal cultivators rushed forward without any regard for their lives. The Azura sect guards could not resist at all. In less than a moment, hundreds of guards were chopped into several pieces, dead. Kill! The cultivators did not stop, like a torrent, continued to rush toward the treasure vault. Chapter 479. Kill them, plunder their treasury. Azura sect does all kinds of evil, deliberately plotting to take our wealth, unforgivable. We must kill them all. Shouts rang out continuously. Everyone's face was filled with righteous indignation. They were like a torrent, charging straight at the guards guarding the treasury. Seeing this scene, the guards trembled, their expressions changed drastically. The weapons in their hands trembled slightly. Watching, this torrent was about to annihilate these guards. At this time, boom! A figure fell from the sky, landing in front of the guards. The person who came was a man with sideburns, a knife scar running from his forehead to the corner of his mouth. His entire head looked like it was torn in half, extremely hideous and terrifying. The cultivators who rushed forward all stopped in their tracks, looking at the bearded man with fear. He is Azura sect deputy patriarch Zhong Yan. What should we do now? With him here, how do we get back the divine essence stones? A wave of discussion broke out. Zhong Yan's lips curled up when he heard this, using his hand to touch the knife scar between his eyebrows. Are you here to snatch my Azura sect's treasure? Zhong Yan said indifferently. Most of the people opened their mouths, but no words came out. Among the crowd, there were naturally some bold ones. Zhong Yan, your Azura sect set up a scam to trick us, and used despicable means to poison the Azura king. Return our divine essence crystals to us. Following these two voices, many people began to echo. Return it to us, return it to us. Zhong Yan's lips curled up when he heard this. Which eye of yours saw us poison it? Just based on a few words from others, you came to ruin my Azura sect's reputation. Do you really think my Azura sect is easy to bully? Zhong Yan's words made everyone's expression change. Fear was written all over their faces. If Azura sect did not admit it, no one could do anything to them. Without conclusive evidence, if they were to be backstabbed, the one who would be hurt would be themselves. Thinking of this, many people had the thought of retreating. Zhong Yan's gaze swept across, his face revealing a cold, murderous intent, staring directly at the few people who just spoke. The few of you, how dare you slander my Azura's gate? I will not forgive you today. And all of you, daring to kill my Azura's gate disciples, today, all of you shall die here. Everyone who was pointed out by Zhong Yan had a drastic change in expression. Without any hesitation, they quickly squeezed through the crowd and fled the scene. However, dozens of masked men in black armor walked up to him quickly. Seeing these black armor guards, the expressions of the cultivators changed dramatically. Shura guards! Oh my God! There are Shura guards here! Luckily, I wasn't chosen. Otherwise, I'd be dead. Many people's expressions changed drastically as they retreated. The Shura guards locked onto those who were trying to escape, and in less than a moment, they had grabbed them and brought them in front of Ren Zhongyan. Vice Sect Leader, spare my life. Spare us, Vice Sect Leader, we were also ordered by someone else. Vice Sect Leader, you can't blame us for believing the slanderous words of a villain. These people knelt down in front of Zhongyan, trembling in fear. Zhongyan stared at them coldly and shot them a glance. Pu Ci, the sound of sharp blades piercing into flesh and blood rang out. Screams rang out one after another. They fell into a pool of blood, twitched a few times, and then stopped moving. Such a scene strongly stimulated the expressions of the cultivators. Everyone stood in place, lowered their heads, and shivered. Zhongyan's gaze swept across. Who else wants this seat to compensate? No one dared to look at him directly. Seeing this scene, Zhongyan nodded in satisfaction. Don't just stand there, follow this seat to punish the murderer. After saying that, Zhongyan led the group of Shura guards and went straight to the arena. The others followed one after another. Soon, everyone returned to the arena again. Looking at the arena, they could not help but raise their eyebrows, and their expressions changed slightly. Only to see. In the arena, on a huge iron pillar, Han Xing was nailed to it. Several sharp thorns pierced through his body. Every thorn did not hit a vital point. Although it was painful, it was not fatal. The host stood in front of the stage, looking at the crowd of cultivators, revealing a cold expression. Everyone, you have disturbed the Shura clan. Logically speaking, all of you should be sentenced to death. However, considering that this is the first time you have committed a crime, and you listened to the slander of a villain, I will let it go this time. If there is a next time, I will not spare you. The host's leisurely voice reverberated in everyone's ears. The crowd of cultivators lowered their heads, not daring to look at him. This villain has been arrested by us. How do you think we should deal with him? The host looked at the crowd of cultivators and asked. The expressions on the faces of the crowd of cultivators changed. How could they not understand the intention of the Shura clan? Kill him. Finally, someone took the lead and spoke. Then, kill him. The crowd of cultivators followed and shouted one after another. The entire scene was once again in an uproar. Many people vented their anger on Han Xing. This kind of villain should be cut into pieces. That's right, it's not satisfying to let him die too quickly. Voices of blame rang out continuously. Hearing these voices, the corner of Han Xing's mouth rose, and there was not the slightest trace of fear on his face. Boss, if I die like this, you will definitely hear the news, right? Boss, this time, I can't fight with you in the Age of Darkness. I hope you can live a good life. Then, he stared at the ground, at the corpse of the Azura King, with an apologetic expression. Azura King, I'm sorry, I can't tell your daughter about you. Han Xing muttered to himself. Looking at the crowd of cultivators, Han Xing could not help but show a pitiful expression on his face. No one else could be manipulated by the Shura clan like this. He closed his eyes and waited quietly. Kill him, kill him. The uproar could not be calmed down for a while. Looking at this scene, the corner of the host's mouth curled up. After she kept waving her hands, the scene gradually quieted down. Since you all want to kill him, let's not let him die quickly. The purpose of the Shura clan is to serve everyone. Of course, we will satisfy everyone's request. Go ahead. The host gave them a look. 2 Shura guards immediately jumped into the arena and ran in front of Han Xing. Kid, since you want to die so much, we won't let you. Today, the 2 of us will cut you apart piece by piece. It will hurt so much. The 2 Shura guards' voices were filled with cruelty. It's useless to keep this eyeball. Dig it out first. One of the Shura guards took out a knife, aimed at Han Xing's eyeball, and stabbed it. The Shura guard's knife was about to stab Han Xing. At this time, let's see who dares. A loud roar shook the entire arena. Then, boom, a figure fell from the sky and directly landed on the arena. Such a scene stunned everyone on the spot. Chapter 480. Boom! A loud noise resounded. A woman fell from the sky and landed in the middle of the field. It was Qian-su. Her appearance instantly stunned everyone on the spot, and their faces were filled with astonishment. Who is she? What does she want? Is she going to save that person? Save? She entered Shura's Gate's territory and she wants to leave alive? Everyone's gazes were fixed on Qian-su. Han Xing, who was originally expressionless, turned pale when he saw Qian-su. Boss, what are you doing here? Run quickly. Han Xing used all his strength to shout out these two words. Ashura's Gate Deputy Sovereign Zhong Yan stared blankly at Qian-su for a moment, then the corners of his mouth curved upwards. He naturally knew this woman. Not long ago, he saw Qian-su snatch the primordial qi with his own eyes. One strand of it was worth 100,000 divine origin stones, which was equivalent to a year of hard work. He made a move at that time, but she escaped. He had no choice but to capture Han Xing. After waiting for a few days, Qian-su didn't come to rescue him. He had given up and decided to fight Han Xing and the others one by one. He didn't expect this woman to come to his door again. You won't be able to escape today. The corner of Zhong Yan's mouth curled up, revealing a cruel smile. His eyes were fixed on Qian-su. Qian-su looked at Han Xing, the corner of her mouth twitching. Pain was written all over her face. Han Xing, I'm sorry. I'm useless. I made you suffer. 2 streams of tears fell from the corner of her eyes. Boss, don't worry about me. Run. Han Xing shouted himself hoarse. However, not only did Qian-su not run, but she also walked towards Han Xing. The 2 Shura guards looked at Qian-su with cold smiles on their faces. They looked at each other, signaled each other, and moved at the same time. They moved like ghosts, dashing towards Qian-su. Qian-su acted as if she didn't notice them. She ran towards Han Xing absent-mindedly. 2 sharp blades, one on the left and one on the right, pierced towards Qian-su's chest and back. Han Xing was petrified by what he saw. No, a shout was heard. Hee. It's too late to remind her now. The eyes of the 2 Shura guards were filled with cruel smiles. In the next second, he heard the sound of a sharp blade piercing into flesh. Thinking of this beautiful sound, the 2 of them couldn't help but become excited. However, ding. 2 metallic clangs rang out. The 2 Shura guards stared blankly at the sharp blades in their hands. Their eyes widened in disbelief. They saw. The 2 sharp blades had already cracked open, shattering everything. This scene strongly stimulated their nerves, and for a moment, they did not come back to their senses. His clothes, just what grade have they reached? A medium-grade god artifact actually shattered just like that? The next second, the 2's expressions changed drastically as they cursed inwardly. Run, this idea had just taken shape. 2 scimitars pierced through the chests of 2 Shura guards, piercing through their hearts. Plop! The 2 of them fell heavily to the ground, motionless. Such a scene strongly stimulated everyone's eyes. Oh my God, who is she? Killing the Shura guards like slaughtering chickens? Amazing! I didn't even see her defend just now. Everyone looked at Qian-su, unable to come back to their senses for a moment. Zhong Yan's expression changed slightly when he saw this scene. A cold, murderous intent was written all over his face. He waved his right hand. Go! With a leap, he charged into the arena. Hundreds of Shura guards surrounded Qian-su tightly, not even a drop of water could escape. There's a path to heaven, but you don't take it. There's no door to hell, but you barge in. I was worried that I couldn't find you. I didn't expect that you actually delivered yourself to my doorstep. Hand over the primordial qi, and I can consider giving you a quick death. Zhong Yan grinned. The scars on his face wrinkled, looking like a curved centipede, extremely hideous. Qian Su did not speak. Without waiting for the Shura guards to react, she dashed straight towards them. Swoosh, the scimitar in her hand slashed across, directly cutting a Shura guard in half along with his armor. Bang! The Shura guard's body fell to the ground, his eyes wide open, dying with everlasting regret. Swoosh! Before Zhong Yan could react, another few Shura guards fell to the ground, dying tragically on the spot. Kill, kill for me! Zhong Yan pointed at Qian Su and roared loudly. Hundreds of Shura guards pounced straight at Qian Su. Everyone aimed at Qian Su, attacking frenziedly. The swords aimed straight at the vital point. Qian Su was like a loach, nimble and unrestrained in the saber light and sword shadow. Every time he attacked, he killed an Ashura guard. Bang! The Shura guards kept falling down. It looked like he was harvesting wheat. Such a scene not only scared the cultivators on the viewing platform silly. Even Zhong Yan was stunned in place at this moment. He looked at Qian Su, his expression kept changing. No, that set of clothes on her must be a top-grade divine artifact. Those two scimitars are probably also top-grade divine artifacts. Rich, I'm really rich. Zhong Yan's eyebrows raised, the joy of obtaining treasures surged into his heart. Top-grade divine artifacts, each one was priceless. Selling tens of billions of divine essence stones was also not a problem. Even if it was not sold, using it to wear, one's strength would also skyrocket by several levels. If I get these treasures, the sect leader will not be my opponent, right? You have been the sect leader for so long, it's time to change the sect leader. Zhong Yan secretly thought, turning his head to look at Han Xing. Without any hesitation, he quickly rushed to Han Xing's side and used a sharp blade to point at Han Xing's neck. Stop! A loud shout. Qian Su looked and stood in place, her face full of anger. Surrender, otherwise I will kill him. The power of the sharp blade in Zhong Yan's hand increased a bit. Qian Su looked at Zhong Yan and gritted her teeth. Despicable! If you have the ability, fight with me. If you win, you can do whatever you want. Haha, Zhong Yan looked up to the sky and laughed. Do you think I am a fool? Using two top-grade spirit weapons to fight with me? Only a fool will be fooled. Hurry up, throw me the weapon in your hand, otherwise I will kill him. My patience is limited, Zhong Yan said. However, without waiting for Qian Su to react, Han Xing took the initiative to stretch his neck forward. Pucci, blood splattered, flowing like a fountain. Phew, Qian Su's face was full of cold killing intent. She turned into an afterimage and rushed straight to Zhong Yan. Zhong Yan looked at this scene. On his face, a cold smile flashed. Buzz, there was a tremor. An iron chain formed by rays of light drilled out of the ground. In the blink of an eye, Qian Su's body was bound in place, unable to move. This, Han Xing looked at Qian Su, his face full of bitterness. His face was pale and his breath was weak. Boss, why do you have to do this? Han Xing, you can't die, we still have to fight the Dark Era together. It's all because the boss is useless, I can't save you. Speaking of this, Qian Su looked at the viewing platform. Young master, I was wrong. Please save Han Xing. Chapter 481. Young master. Zhong Yan was taken aback. His gaze swept the surroundings, but he did not notice anyone approaching. He looked at Qian Su with a cold smile on his face. Little girl, you still want to lie to me at this moment? Today, not to mention the young master you speak of, even if the Heavenly King were to come, he wouldn't be able to save you. I'll let you see how he dies. After saying those words, Zhong Yan picked up the sharp blade, aimed it at Han Xing's face, and thrust it forward. It was about to pierce Han Xing's face. At this moment, ding, the sound of metal clashing rang out. A rebounding force sent Zhong Yan flying. He fell heavily to the ground. Zhong Yan struggled to stand up and looked at Han Xing in disbelief. Unbeknownst to him, a barrier had already appeared on his body. Godly array? Zhong Yan was stunned and his face was filled with disbelief. Han Xing had no idea that someone had set up a formation on him. From the looks of it, the strength of this hidden force was definitely not simple. Swish, Zhong Yan took a step forward and dashed towards Qian Su. In the next breath, his footsteps came to a halt. They looked at the people in front of Qian Su, and their expressions changed. They saw. The four men were already standing in front of Qian Su. The man in the lead was dressed in white, and his body was emitting an indescribable radiance. Just one look was enough to make one intoxicated. These four people were Sun Hao and the others. Zhong Yan didn't know how Sun Hao and the others appeared. However, he was certain that these people were far stronger than him. What should we do? For a time, Zhong Yan's expression kept changing, and he began to think of a countermeasure. For Zhong Yan's reaction, Sun Hao didn't seem to notice. He looked at Qian Su and nodded. "Miss Qian Su, are you all right?" Qian Su nodded and looked at Sun Hao apologetically. "Young master, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you." "I'm fine." Sun Hao waved his hand. "I can understand your feelings. If it were me, I would also want to rescue my brother personally." After speaking, Sun Hao stretched out his finger and gently pointed forward. Kacha, the light chains binding Qian Su's body, all shattered. "Young master," Qian Su looked at Sun Hao as if she had 1,000 words to say. His expression kept changing. Most of it was gratitude and admiration. Good chance. When Zhong Yan saw this scene, he tiptoed out of the dueling ring, not daring to make any noise. He was about to walk out of the dueling ring and leave this place. At this moment, "Young master didn't say anything and you dare to leave?" At this moment there was a soft shout. Six Ears Macaque jumped up and grabbed Zhong Yan like a chicken. No matter what he did, he was unable to break free. Plop, the six-eared macaque threw Zhong Yan heavily in front of Sun Hao. Zhong Yan's entire body ached from the fall. He felt as if his entire body was about to split open. It was extremely uncomfortable. He knelt in front of Sun Hao, shivering. A casual attack from one of his subordinates was enough to render him powerless to resist. If this person were to make a move, he would be even less of a mat. This person's strength was far beyond his imagination. "Spare me!" Zhong Yan buried his head in the ground and remained motionless. Sun Hao looked at Zhong Yan, and his face did not change at all. He walked in front of Han Xing and forcefully pulled him off the spikes. Then, he took the powder and applied it on Han Xing's body. The injuries on Han Xing's body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than a moment, Han Xing woke up. Not only did his injuries recover, but his strength also increased a lot. After seeing Sun Hao, Han Xing's pupils shrank, and his face showed great gratitude. Plop! Han Xing knelt heavily in front of Sun Hao and kowtowed. "Thank you for saving my life. Your great kindness, I can't repay it," Han Xing said. "You're welcome, please get up," Sun Hao said. "Thank you, young master." Han Xing's face was full of gratitude. "This is for you." Sun Hao took out a long spear and handed it to Han Xing. Han Xing held the long spear, and his body trembled with excitement. He looked at Sun Hao with a grateful face. "Thank you, young master." Sun Hao smiled slightly, looked at Han Xing and Qian Su, and said with a smile, "Go, I'll leave them to you." "Yes, young master." The two moved together and rushed straight to the hundreds of Shura guards. Boom! Stab! Bang! The Shura guards fell one by one. No one could persist in the hands of Qian Su and Han Xing for a second. In less than a moment, hundreds of Shura guards died tragically. It's another top-grade artifact. My God, what kind of existence is he? Sending the top-grade artifact like sending garbage. Zhong Yan stared at Han Xing's hand and his face kept changing. Suddenly, he raised his eyebrows. He found that Qian Su had locked on to him. What should I do? Sensing the cold killing intent on Qian Su, Zhong Yan's body trembled. He turned around and looked back at Sun Hao. After finding that Sun Hao and the others showed an indifferent look, he stepped forward and fled frantically. However, Qian Su kicked the ground, jumped up, and jumped directly in front of Zhong Yan, blocking his way. "Let me live," Zhong Yan said. Hee. Qian Su smiled coldly, waved the curved blades in her hands, and danced, rushing straight to Zhong Yan. Boom, the two fought together, and for a while, they couldn't tell the outcome. Han Xing's eyes swept and stared directly at the host on the stage. Boom, Han Xing jumped up and jumped directly to the stage. He stared at the host, and his eyes were full of cold, killing intent. What do you want to do?" The host looked horrified and slowly retreated. Han Xing did not reply to her but ran quickly toward her. In an instant, he grabbed the host in his hand. The host fell directly into Han Xing's arms. "Young master, you are so bad. You want to dual cultivate with me so much. There are so many people here, I'm sorry," the host said in a childish voice, using his chest, squeezing straight toward Han Xing. However, puff stab, the long spear flashed and pierced directly into the host's chest. After the host twitched a few times, he fell to the ground. His eyes were wide open, and he died with a grievance. After killing the host, Han Xing did not stop. He continued to wave the long spear and went straight to the dungeon. Boom! Everywhere he went, there were fallen figures of Shura guards. He rushed into the depths of the dungeon and came to a cell. "Master!" In the cell, two strong men looked at Han Xing and their eyes flickered. These two people were the two polar guardians who helped Han Xing guard the Blood Phoenix nest. "Thank you for saving my life, Master." The two polar guardians knelt in front of Han Xing. "It's not me who saved you, but the young master. Quick, come with me to visit the young master, and then slaughter the Shura sect dogs," Han Xing said. "Yes, master." A strange light bloomed on the faces of the two. They followed Han Xing and quickly went to the arena. When they came to the arena, the three of them looked at the scene in front of them and couldn't help but widen their eyes. Shock was written all over their faces. Chapter 482. In the arena, Qian Su waved the double blades in her hands, and her body fluttered like a butterfly, which was very beautiful. However, this time, the butterfly carried a fatal injury. Every time it danced, it could take away a trace of blood from Zhong Yan's body. Zhong Yan's body was dripping with blood. Boom! He fell heavily to the ground, splashing a cloud of dust. Zhong Yan's body was full of scars, and it looked terrible. He looked at Qian Su coming, and his face was extremely ugly. "Spare my life, spare my life. If you kill me, the sect master will not let you go." The sect master's strength is far from what you can imagine. He has now reached, the words were not finished. The curved blade in Qian Su's hand crossed Zhong Yan's neck. A stream of blood spurted out like an arrow. Zhong Yan covered his neck and opened his mouth. What came out was only a voice. Blood flowed down from his neck wound and dyed his whole clothes red. Boom! Zhong Yan fell heavily to the ground. After twitching a few times, there was no movement. Those eyes stared at the sky, full of unwillingness. Such a scene strongly stimulated the crowd of cultivators on the viewing platform. They widened their eyes, opened their mouths wide, and were extremely shocked. For a long time, they gradually calmed down. Hiss, the sound of gasping kept ringing around. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Sun Hao. Who the hell is he? How could he have such a means? Incredible, unimaginable, he just took a bag of powder and saved a seriously injured kid. Did you see it just now? He just stretched out a finger and smashed the divine formation arranged by Zhong Yan. That young master, although he didn't make a move, he is by no means a simple character. The three men behind him are also by no means simple. The exclamations continued, and for a while, they couldn't stop at all. The two extreme guardians followed Han Xing and walked to Sun Hao and knelt down. "Thank you, young master, for saving my life." The two extreme guardians looked at Sun Hao and were grateful. No need to be polite, please get up, Sun Hao said. Thank you, young master. The two stood up. This is my gift to you, accept it. Sun Hao took out 3 sets of clothes and 2 weapons and handed them to the 3. Seeing this, Han Xing widened his eyes and hurriedly waved his hands. Young master, you have already given me the spear, I cannot accept it any more. Han Xing said. What? Are you looking down on the clothes I make? Sun Hao snorted coldly. Hearing this, Han Xing's expression changed greatly. Young master, of course not, this is too precious. If that's the case, then keep it. Don't want me to save you every time, right? Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Han Xing and the other 2 accepted the equipment sent by Sun Hao. They looked at it for a long time before putting it on. They looked at Sun Hao with uncontrollable gratitude. The Xiuzha on the spectator stands looked dazedly at this scene. Their mouths gaped open as they stood dumbstruck on the spot. My ancestor, it's another supreme-grade divine artifact. One after another. In the eyes of that young master, this kind of divine weapon can't be any more ordinary. That young master must be a divine tool grandmaster. What? Such a character actually came here. Today is really an eye-opener. The sound of explosions didn't stop at all. Looks of worship and awe could be seen on their faces. At the same time, there was a strong sense of jealousy. At this moment, Sun Hao became the focus of everyone. For these, Sun Hao simply ignored them. Sun Hao had long been used to being the focus of attention and being worshipped everywhere. He looked at Qian Su and the others and said, Everyone, don't be stunned. What to do, I don't need to say more. Young master, understand. Han Xing and Qian Su nodded at the same time and left quickly with the 2 extreme guardians. After a while, boom, boom, the sound of explosions came from all around Hell City. Every single sound caused the arena to buzz and tremble. 6 ears, little Lei, you 2, go and help too. End the battle as soon as possible. Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. The 6-eared macaque and the Thunder Tribulation Lord jumped up and disappeared from the arena. Standing next to Sun Hao, only Zhang Tianping was left. Young master, shall I go and help too? Zhang Tianping asked. You don't have to. When your strength is stronger, there will be more opportunities to make a move. Let's go to the tea house for tea. Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Zhang Tianping followed behind Sun Hao and strode out of the arena in front of everyone's gaze. When they came to the main street, the crowd surged and went straight to the source of the battle sound. Sun Hao and Zhang Tianping walked into a tea house and found a place to sit down. At this moment, in the tea house, there were only a few people sitting on the ground with a look of fear. They must have been frightened by the sound of the battle just now. Sun Hao took out a bag of tea leaves. The moment he opened it, Zhang Tianping was stunned in place. He saw, on the tea leaves in Sun Hao's hand, the 7-colored divine light surged differently. That majestic power was contained in the tea leaf. These tea leaves not only attracted Zhang Tianping's gaze, but also attracted a few cultivators who were frightened to the ground in the distance. They slowly stood up and stared blankly at the color of the tea leaves. That kind of greed was not suppressed at all. That is enlightenment divine tea, my ancestor. I am lucky to see such a treasure with my own eyes. What? Enlightenment divine tea? Are you right? Hasn't this kind of thing disappeared for millions of years? Absolutely not wrong, this must be enlightenment divine tea. This kind of thing, eating a piece, can enter the realm of heavenly God unity. Several people muttered to themselves, staring at Sun Hao's hand. They wanted to rush forward several times, but finally held back. Young master, this is? Zhang Tianping asked. The upgraded version of Dahong Pao. You can also call it enlightenment divine tea. Sun Hao said. Really, is it really enlightenment divine tea? Zhang Tianping's eyes widened with a look of disbelief. Don't show that look, A little tea is not worth mentioning. I will make tea first, and when they come back, they should be able to drink it, Sun Hao said. Young master, do you need my help? Zhang Tianping asked. There's no need for that. Just watch. Sun Hao began to make tea in Zhang Tianping's stunned gaze. Every movement was natural, and it was very comfortable to watch. After half a quarter of an hour, the sound of fighting gradually stopped. Soon after, young master. The first to walk into the tea-house was the six-eared macaque. He looked at the teapot in Sun Hao's hand and his eyes widened. How is it? Sun Hao asked. Young master, it's done, no one is left, the six-eared macaque said. Okay, sit down. Sun Hao nodded. Yes, young master. The six-eared macaque sat next to Sun Hao. Young master. Thunder Tribulation ruler, Qian Su, and Han Xing filed in and walked in front of Sun Hao. Sit down, two on one side. Several people sat down in turn. A total of 8 people, just enough to fill a square table. Sun Hao picked up the teapot and was about to pour it for several people. Big event, big event. A burst of exclamations came from outside the tea-house.